Yay, hello, hello. I hope everybody's having a great evening. Do you know what's really funny? I did not know there's an earthquake, but I'm going to look that up right now. I was driving, so if it happened while I was driving, I wouldn't even have felt it. Hello, Joy. Hello, Skits. Hello, hello, everybody. Good to rah, good to see you. Yay! Hello, hello. I'm definitely gonna have to check that out though. Was there an earthquake in LA? Welcome to my so-called life. My name is William. I hope everybody's having a great Wednesday. Hello, everybody. Great to see everybody polished and assembled. Hello, hello. Great to see you. Um, did you hear? Is anybody heard anything about an earthquake? I have to look it up now. I was driving, so if there was there was a 4.4 on the other side. Wow. That's actually that's something you could definitely feel. So, quick disclaimer, if there is an earthquake, we're all going to go viral together cuz you're going to see me run out of this room in a full sprint cuz this room is not earthquake safe. I hope everyone's doing well. I have plans for a shirt this evening. I say I'm not going to go that long, but that always ends with me standing in the middle of the street with road flares, like every single time. With that being said, this program is for entertainment purposes only, and this content is not intended to malign any religion, race, company, individual, or wigs. All opinions expressed by my so-called life and program participants are solely their personal views and do not reflect the opinions of every human being on planet Earth. I hope everybody has a great evening. You know what? I have a weird earthquake detector where it's just like a free hanging pane of glass with a really not so inspirational quote on it. It says, "This house is not your house" in Spanish. Bound dead under 65 sewing machines after earthquake. Like I said, there is 9 bags of 55 gallons of scraps. Yay, balloons, inappropriate balloons. I'm trying to be serious, Apple. This isn't balloon time. See, it never. Okay, I'm officially annoyed with that. Oh, good times. Good times. But I have an insane amount of fabric above my head. Um, I have an insane amount of sewing machine cases and covers from wood. I have 2 that are metal, a bunch that are plastic. So if there is an earthquake, I'm gonna run and I'm gonna jump over my desk. And if it's a big one, I might take my sewing machine with me because I need something to do. Oh, that is funny. There was a big earthquake. Okay, good to know. Good to know. Today was definitely one of those crazy days. My son returned to on-campus school for the first time, I think in 5 years or something crazy like that. Do you know, I had one of those moments going back to the car. A group of kids, like I parked on the street, a group of kids were obviously coming back from lunch. I get out, I'm walking past them, and every single one of them was like, "Hello, sir. Hello, sir." I went to this high school 100 years ago, and I remember when I wasn't a sir. So it made me feel like I was from the Preozoic era. It did. It really did. But let me see. Oh, how I bet he was nervous. Big day. He was nervous. It's been We haven't he hasn't been back to school in a very long time. He's been homeschooled this whole time, and he's only doing a class or two, but it was a big deal, you know? It's been a while. I had to go get him a new backpack. His old backpack had the Avengers on it. And when you're in high school, I guess the Avengers aren't cool anymore. Good times. Good times. And today it was kind of an orientation. Well, not necessarily, but I had to drop him off a little bit early. So I went to Walmart and I actually needed a few practical things, but of course I ended up getting fabric. And it's not a ton of fabric, but um I'm starting to pick up abstract pieces of fabric, just anything I can get my hands on because I'm going to start making Star Trek clothes. I was not kidding when I said I'm going to make a shirt like Jake Sisko or like the 90s interpretation of what they thought the future was going to be like was insane. So I've been collecting all different types of fabric. I purchased this, and I believe this is 3 yards. This is just something that I'm either going to use for the inside of a hood or I'm going to use it as a stripe for a shirt or something, you know. This is definitely going to get incorporated into something. And then I saw this. Do you know, it's been a while since I've made a really bright, annoying shirt. So with this 4 yards of fabric, this evening, I'm going to make a shirt. And this reminds me of a cartoon character that my son used to watch a show called Yo Gabba Gabba. And there was a character that literally was this color, the stripes and everything. So it brought me back. And I definitely need a shirt that's loud and bright and striped in this color. So I'm going to get my table out. Awesome. How's everybody doing this evening? What is everybody sewing? I have a quick question for you as well now that I remember. Yay! Hello, hello. So Disney is expanding. And if I live in Los Angeles, and if you live anywhere in LA, you live near a theme park. But could you live near a theme park? And when I say near a theme park, a long time ago, I went to a WWE event and it was in Anaheim. And back then it was called the Anaheim Pond. We parked so far away that when I clicked the car, I turned around and I saw someone's driveway. We parked like half a mile away from the event, you know, but these people lived in the area, you know. So it was one of those things where it made me think of that because today I watched this whole thing about Disney expanding. And although, you know, it's a fun place to visit, they have taken over the neighborhood. Yay, hello. Awesome, awesome. Hello, hello. Great to see you, Pam. Yay, hello. Awesome, awesome. So it's one of those things. I don't know if I could live near a theme park like that. But like I said, if you live in LA, you kind of do already. But the one that I live near is in the mountains and it's really not encroaching on any neighborhood. So it's just one of those strange things. And Disneyland is in the middle of Anaheim. Like if you get lost in that area, you'll start driving around houses because there's neighborhoods incorporated into that entire area. Awesome, awesome. So I'm gonna grab my pattern and my table. This evening I will be using Simplicity Pattern S9 158. I have fallen in love with this pattern. I can't say it's my new MeBG R11407 because I have yet to be anywhere near as many as many shirts as I was last time. But like I say, I hope everyone's doing well. I'm going to pull my table out, get some supplies. Today, it was definitely one of those tear jerker kind of days of like, and for the first time in a long time, when I dropped my son off, I'm driving away and I'm like, wait a minute, I have freedom. Unadulterated by myself freedom. It's been a while. I needless to say, I with my free time I went to Walmart. But like I said, I needed a few things. So it's crazy to me that how in the state of California, I don't know where anyone else lives, but where I live, everything is behind glass as far as any kind of like if you need a razor, if you need lotion or anything like that, it's a chore. It's definitely a chore. Oh. I'm also thinking about making another sewing jacket like the one behind me. I have its twin brother, cousin, or whatever you want to call it, in the closet, and they've both been attacked by moths. So now that they both have moth holes in them, I have the perfect excuse to upcycle them. I'm actually kind of excited, and it shows me the mothballs in there are not working. All right, so I'm gonna try to keep it to a simple pattern this evening because my jacket. Before I forget, I already put my table up, but let me move my table. I did make the coat. I completely forgot about that. I'm gonna need some help. I do not know what the material is. It's almost like leggings. It's almost like something that it's like stretchy almost. I love how it came out. I'm gonna go downtown and buy a ton more from Mr. Modelo, but I haven't figured out what the material is. Let me grab it. I am definitely all over the place. I just got home. And if the earth is moving, there's quite a few things that I need to take off of a few shelves around here in my house. There's a few things that should be moved around. Let me switch the angle real quick and I'll move my Golden Girls chair. The jacket came out perfect. I absolutely love how it came out. But again, I'm kind of stumped at the material. All right. Let me expand that. It gives it that epic look, but this is more of like a stretch material almost. I love how it came out. I lined it with the material that I got downtown because I have miles and miles of this stuff, but maybe I needed a stretchy coat. I love how this looks. And this is something I'm going to wear all the time. Black, black is one of those things that go with everything. So this is perfect. Let me fix the collar. This is a huge collar. I always think I'm cutting the collar in short, and the collars get larger and larger as time goes on. I definitely do need a Do you know what's funny? On the other side, where my rollaways are, I have quite a collection of construction helmets. I should wear my welding helmet. It's reinforced. Thank you very much, Dixie. Working with this material makes me want to go get a ton more. I think what happens is that it just shapes well. And because it's more of a stretchy material, it forms around the body. I love how this came out. I was thinking about adding snap claps at the front, but I do not know how dramatic I want this jacket to end up. I almost forgot about this. This was an utter and complete success. This makes me want to go back to downtown and dig. See, Mr. Modelo lets me just rummage through all the fabric in his shop. And there's been a couple times where I'll find a roll and he's like, oh, I didn't even know we had that here. So I found this fabric. I know where the shop is that I got it at. I'm excited. I'm definitely going to go back and get more of it. All right. Sorry, I'm like looking to see if I have a UPS package. Sometimes I don't know if having a security camera is a good or a bad thing. Because I can see everything. All right. You know what? I will wear this for a while. Maybe getting the close-up shot will help me fix the collar. Awesome. All right. Maybe I should wear this coat with my huge pilgrim collar. I absolutely love the material. I love how it came out. Isn't there a tag on the bolts of fabric saying what it is? On some of them, there is. This was on a roll. Like most of the giant rolls, from my guesstimation, are like 46 yards. And it doesn't sound, no, it's something crazy. Is it 46 yards? It's heavy, whatever it is. But this particular black roll was huge. It was so big, it took both of us to pick it up. Hey, Gilroy, how's it going? Great to see you. Great to see you. But I love using things that they're not necessarily intended for. And this is more of a stretchy material. And I'm grabbing the cups because it's funny how the material, it is completely stretchy. It probably was meant for pants or something in that realm. But I love how this came out because it's heavy. This material is extremely heavy. It washes well, and this is a beautiful addition. For as many coats as I've made, it's not that I'm unimpressed, but every once in a while I'll make a coat and I'm like, oh, wow, that's nice. And this is definitely something that I'm going to wear. This is in the realm of dad coat. Something that, I'm going to wear all the time. Oh, for some reason, you remind me of Drew Carey in that coat. That's actually like a weird fear of mine, is to grow up and become Drew Carey from the Drew Carey Show. Or, I'm this close to buying a Bat car.
Hello.
I should turn the volume up. How are you? Is it me? Okay. Spectrum. I'm telling you, it is Spectrum. Well, we'll wait for Waternate to stop spitting. Maybe my coat was just so amazing that no, I'm kidding. I'm sure Waternate will be back. I'm sure Waternate will be back. Hi.
It was perfectly clear on my end.
You know what? It's that kind of day. It's that kind of show.
Yeah.
Wouldn't be the internet without technical difficulties. How are you? I'm running through everything. I forgot to talk about my coat. I have a fake. So recently I purchased a Stanley Cup and I don't want anyone to think that I spent how much are they?
Like, what are they? Depends on the size. $45, $75.
Ooh, $5.99 at my local 99-cent store.
And is it an actual Stanley Cup?
I have an engraver. I'll write Stanley on it if it'll make you feel better.
I mean, for me, with something like that, sometimes the name brand ones work better than the non-name brand ones. But if it works and it keeps your drink at the right temperature, that's what's important.
It's an adult sippy cup, and I drink an insane amount of water, so this is just good for me to have a large cup.
Okay.
But I laughed. I laughed so hard. I walked into the dollar store with my son, and he was like, "Are you kidding me?" And I was like, What are we talking about?" He's like, "They have bootleg Stanley Cups." I was like, "Oh, that's my middle name is Bootleg Stanley Cup." It's a cup. It shouldn't. I feel the same way. I kind of laugh at fads. Right now, who has a pet rock? Right now, tell me.
I think I have some handmade ones left over in my nostalgia box from when I was a kid.
It's really funny. I think Isaiah made me one when he was a kid, but see, it was way past the pet rock era. I bought a big glass mug that holds a quart for like $7. Exactly.
Nice.
It's insane to me how popular they are. That's why I put it up next to the Gray Singer, and I was like, which one's the bigger fad? And you shouldn't brawl. One of those brawls were in my hometown. I'm actually embarrassed. What's up, Rashawn? How's it going? Great to see you. Great to see you. This mass hysteria is $5.99 at my local dollar store, which it's kind of disappointing because when I was younger, it was insane that it was an actual dollar store. And when I say younger, I mean 20, 25 years ago. But now they have everything priced up to like $15 there. They have clothes at the dollar store. But yeah, I got this bootleg Stanley Cup. I've had way too much water. So if you see me getting up, it's because I'm overhydrated.
I'll try to think of something to keep people entertained while you nip in and out of the bathroom.
What's the last thing that you've seen besides concert tickets that people fought over?
That I've seen?
Well, online,
Oh.
Hello.
Item. I don't know. Let me get back to you.
Because I'm a sports fan, so people still fight in line over tickets and stuff, but no one goes to the stadium anymore. You can do it all from your phone now, Thank you. Were people fighting over the Tickle Me Elmo?
Oh, they were. Yeah.
Too much coffee. What about Furby? Were people fighting over the Furby?
Probably.
It's just insane to me. And I was really embarrassed because twice last year, my local Target went viral for people having meltdowns because of what they perceived Target was selling. And then it was people literally brawling over the Stanley Cups. And one of the only reasons that I really knew it was my hometown is because one of the guys followed someone outside. And I was like, oh, the mall is directly across the street. And I was like, oh my, that's my hometown.
Oh no.
So people are fighting over Stanley Cups where I'm from, and it's going viral.
That's embarrassing.
It is. Did you feel the earthquake?
I did not. What time was it?
I have to look that up again, but it was a 4.4. That's nothing to shake your finger at.
Yeah.
Like I said, if there's an earthquake, you're gonna see me run out of this room. We're all gonna go viral together because this whole room's just gonna rain fabric and every you'll see my real hoarding.
A 4-4 would make me consider nipping into a doorway or
I'm a bolt. I'm iPhone. I gosh, 20 was that? How many years ago was that? Yikes, that was 20 years ago. Because that was that 04 when the first iPhone came out? No, it was like
no,
06.
no. It was like 04 or something. Or 03. Yeah, something like that.
I remember people saying, I worked at Carl's Jr. in Portland, Oregon. I remember walking to work at like 4 in the morning and being like, for a phone, these people are crazy. Look at us all now. We all have smartphones now.
It was, yeah. I mean, it did a lot that most phones didn't do back then. You could get some, but it did a lot. I could understand the interest.
I'm trying to think. I've seen because of the side of town I live on, I only see people really go crazy when the Lakers or the Dodgers win. I'm trying to think if there's something Furbies. Do you know what's really funny? When I was in divorce court, I actually saw people breaking up collections of things. And that's when I was like, I have to get into something that nobody's into. And there's a very famous I don't know, it's online somewhere. It's a story, but there were people who actually were on their hands and knees and they were dividing Beanie Babies. Where are they now? Where are those people now? I'm sure those Beanie Babies are in a closet somewhere, or in the rafters at their house somewhere.
There are still people who are interested in the Beanie Babies. Sorry, I was distracted because I was dying to know when the first iPhone came out, and I was wrong. I hate it when I'm wrong. I don't have to be right all the time, but I don't like being incorrect. I like to be, to state things that are true and factual, and I was wrong. Oh well. January 2007 was when the announcement came.
Wow. I was there in Portland, Oregon for that one. Oh, that's funny. I guarantee most Beanie Baby collections are in the landfill now. Thank you. And as somebody who is the prince of thrift stores, there you can get a whole collection right now at thrift stores. And for some reason, they're always in with the hats because you'll have a big jumble of hats and scarves. And I'm a hat collector. I love a good Dodger hat. I own too many of them. But you randomly see Beanie Babies in the collection. It's the strangest thing.
I thought there were still people who collected them.
I'm sure, but you know what? I collect Columbia House Star Trek VHSs. I wonder how many people are in. See, you laughed when you heard that because you already know where I'm going with that. I feel like NFTs were digital Beanie Babies. I watch this channel called Earn Your Leisure, and that young man has been trying to push that stuff. I still don't know what any of it is. I'm so tactile. If I can't touch it, I don't consider it real. If I can screenshot it, you don't own it. Am like, is that petty? Like Star Trek tried that, and the fandom, like, and I'm anti fans running corporations because that's just literally the inmates running the asylum. But on this one, the fans were like, "Bruh, don't join, do not, please, do not go down that road, please." And you know what's so sad? I went to Vegas and they had a whole room at the last con in Vegas where they were pushing NFTs. And of course they had Ferengi NFTs. Oh, I have pictures. Wrong, at least you can cuddle a Beanie Baby. You can't cuddle a digital. Thank you. You know what? This conversation may be torn apart 100 years from now as a case study for dinosaurs and antiquated people who refuse to change. But until like there is some giant change and we're all just hiding behind our computer screens and for everything, NFTs are not real to me. I'm sorry. So did you see this?
I did. That is quite the fabric.
So is this on the line of something that you wouldn't wear? A color that you wouldn't necessarily rock?
Well, that color would wash me out. I don't look good in super brights like that. But I see some what were those? Well, there was a name for them. What were those pants? They were kind of like the 90s version of a jogger. They were like, but they were like regular fabric, but they were like loose, kind of like a sweatpant, and they usually had
Not
these
hammer
like
pants. Are you talking about hammer pants?
crazy. Well, no, because they didn't have like the whole dropped crotch and everything, but they were kind of like a jogger or a sweatpant, but they were a woven fabric. I feel
I do remember that. I do
yeah.
remember, but I had a hammer pants in every color, every material. I had the cheap ones from the swap. I loved hammer pants. That was, come on. I literally made a Bobby Brown shirt. You should know how I feel about it. I've made 4 videos, I think, about hammer pants.
I feel like that striped fabric would be a good make some good like drapey pants.
That's not a bad idea. This is an oopsie from Walmart.
An oopsie?
Yeah,
Oh, like where someone like cut it and said, oopsie.
Like I call them oopsies because back when I used to buy paint all the time, when I had a real job and I just didn't sit in an office like a shrub, there was an aisle at every store of oopsies where they would mix paint or they'd test something. My bathroom is an oopsie color. My patio is an oopsie color. I would always buy the oopsie color, so that's what I call wrong cuts. An oopsie holding an oopsie. And you know what's really funny? The people at my local Walmart, like they're only there during a specific time. So when I walked in, they were like, aha, I haven't seen you in a while. And I'm like, you guys, I didn't want to say anything because I don't want to be that, I think when I finally do buy my silk screen, I'm gonna just retire and make a shirt that says I'm a Karen. So that way when I'm just like, hey man, this is not okay, they'll be like, oh, okay. His shirt explains. Then I can just tap the sign, be like, I'm a Karen, sorry. And yes, I'm wearing a Pioneer Chicken shirt because I live in the past. There used to be one up the street from my house back in 100 years ago. There's only one that exists in LA that I know of. You know what's sad? I went there and it still tastes like it did back in the day.
I think I've only had it like a couple of times in my lifetime, so I couldn't tell you exactly what Pioneer Chicken tastes like.
I grew up with one like in my area, and then when they replaced it with a Popeyes, which has been there ever since. All right, let me grab my table because, for all the waffling, this is a sewing channel. Let me take off my fancy boots.
When you were messing with your table or whatever that was earlier, it made me think of the theme song for Are you being served? It had the whole, like, the ding, click, click.
I did a video where I tried to line up my voice to the Australian version. Did you know that? Oh, we're gonna. Do you know? I think
No.
we should have a segment called "Digging in the Archives" of where we go back to the videos that no one watched. I worked so hard but it was during COVID. I was trapped in the house. And so I would do projects. Like I would have major projects, and I made a Mr. Humphreys opening because I've always had the same opening. So every time I switch it up, people notice,
Mm. I don't think I knew there was an Australian version of Are You Being Served?
There's many opinions about the Australian version. No one likes it. I
Oh dear.
loved it. I still miss Mark Short. I had to ask Mark Short like to interpret a few things. Like there was this one guy who was like, "Oh, I'm kipping in the dunny," and I was like, "What does that mean?" And Mark Short was like, "He's going to the bathroom." But like they copied every episode of Are You Being Served? So if you've seen Are You Being Served, it's a bad remake.
Oh dear.
I'm trying to remember because it's been so long. Oh, I made a video. Do you know, I want to thank the person who asked me if I actually sew because they made me so angry it inspired my so-called life. I thank you, not so kind, sir. I thank you. Oh, I'm trying to remember. You know what? I'll come back to that because I'm like sifting through. I'm like, oh, I've made quite a few videos. But the Australian version, I love B movies. Come on, I love Robert Picardo. I've seen almost every movie Robert Picardo's in. Bryan Cranston is another one who has been in every B movie you've never heard of. There's so I'll watch a bootleg version. I will. I have a bootleg Stanley Cup. But I liked it. It's just different actors with the exact same scenes. And if you look at the comments, people are like, why does this exist? This
Yeah,
is horrible.
I mean, I could understand like a spin-off with their own storylines and characters and things, but to just remake the thing that already exists and that a lot of people consider sitcom perfection, that's
Well,
just
in the beginning of the show, it opens up with Mr. Humphreys moving to Australia, but the setup is basically exactly the same. They changed the names around a little bit, but every storyline is exactly the same. Now I have to look up and see how many seasons it went. We should have been warned about remakes back then, but look at us now. We're in the remake era.
We probably were warned. We just forget, like
I'm here for a spin-off. Like there's been too many successful spin-offs,
I think about the 1995, the 2005 Pride and Prejudice, and everyone was complaining because the 1995 one was perfection. Why would you mess with it? We don't need a re-release, blah, 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 blah. And then I discovered that those were the exact same things that people were saying when the 1995 one came out, and everyone was thinking of the one from 1985 or 84 or whatever it was.
I watched a Tarzan remake that was modern, and I'm going to tell you, I found it confusing.
The one, a movie or the TV series?
The movie. It was a movie. I don't know if I walked away too many times. That's a problem with having a home theater. Like, well, when I say home theater, I'm talking about sitting in here and being able to do whatever I want. But like, I think I got up too many times.
I mean, if you're getting up and wandering off, I remember there was one person who was trashing this show that was that I watched, and the person was like, "Oh, and they didn't, explain this and blah blah blah." And then you find out that the person was folding laundry and not even fully paying attention and had missed all the things that they were complaining about.
It seemed oddly confusing. And I can't remember who told the joke about how Samuel L. Jackson is in every movie, but like in the middle of the movie, Samuel L. Jackson's in the movie, and I'm like, Samuel L. Jackson is in every movie. I'm like, I can't remember, but there was a movie where there was a bunch of Vikings on a boat, and they cut, and Samuel L. Jackson is there with the blonde wig.
What?
I can't remember. I'm gonna have to look that up. I hope it was satire, but it was real because I saw it with my own two eyes, but I clicked off. I can't remember who said that. There's a comedian who was like, I dare you to find me a movie he's not in. Oh, this is really oopsies because it's in sections. Oopsies! This is like con. This is the second time that I might not have enough. They're really bad at math at my local Walmart. They're really bad at math. Sorry.
So you said you're making something coat or something?
No, I'm gonna make a shirt.
A shirt. Okay.
Yeah, because it just goes right on the serger. And it's something to do on stream, and this reminds me of Broby from Yo Gabba Gabba or like Freddy Krueger at a rave. It's like green with green stripes.
Does it matter that you don't have your edges lined up? I just mentioned it because you mentioned you were short on fabric.
It's lined up.
I mean, I don't care. It might not matter, but I'm just pointing it out in case you're short on fabric.
Oh no, it's lined up at the points I need it to be.
Okay.
Look at you paying attention.
I'm always paying attention.
Oh, that's so funny.
That's why I don't try to craft or sew while we're on the stream, because it would be a disaster.
You know, I want to look cool so bad, but I can't sew with this leather coat on. So let's all soak it in for a minute. I got this on Prime Day.
Leather coat you got on? Wow.
And since there's no fronting here at the House of Sewing, I got this on Amazon. If you see anyone rocking it, they got it on Amazon too. I see it everywhere now.
So is that a coat with flannel, or is that a vest over?
Thank you for asking. This is a vest over a Boston Traders flannel. Isn't that Costco?
I don't know. I don't have a Costco membership because they sell things in packs of like 2 gross, and I just don't need 2 gross of something all at one time.
Costco is the reason why I do not like Cheez-Its. Whoa, Oreos. There's a list. Because when Isaiah was younger, he was really into things and he would eat them over and over. So we'd go to Costco. But the one thing I love about Costco is they have the greatest hot dog combo ever. And I think they raised the price $1. Everybody cried. It was $1.50 forever. I want a Costco membership, but Sam's is so much closer. You know, Rashawn, I've never walked into a Sam's before. I trip out on their catalog because you can buy a plane at Sam's. You could buy all kinds of stuff.
My boyfriend back in the day was in the military, and I think he had a Sam's Club membership because it came with his military membership. Or he got a discount or something.
There's one right next to the Walmart. I really don't see a difference, but my son went and he came back. He's like, bro, you need a Sam's Club membership. It's one of those things like I have an Amazon habit, okay? Everybody's telling me about all these other sites. It's not like I need another place to waste my money. So I try to stick to one hole that I'm throwing my money in. I gotta go to Costco anyways. I do buy insane things though. Like I'll buy a 5-pound bag of espresso beans.
How do you use it before it goes stale?
I have a grinder. I drink coffee like I'm in the Delta Quadrant, like I'm Janeway trying to get home. You know what? If I do not have enough fabric, we're gonna go full Jake Sisko and put some funky arms on this.
Okay. Rock the two-tone pastels.
I really want to start making like on Deep Space Nine and on Star Trek: The Next Generation. The combos that the civilians were wearing were fierce. And you think I'm playing? If you type in "dress like Jake Sisko" on Google, you get the funkiest combinations. Because in the 90s, they thought in the future we'd all be wearing jumpers and bright clothes. So it's a weird combo.
It was the era for color blocking. So
I told you there's a pattern that I saw on a Deep Space Nine shirt. I was like, I have something that's kind of close to that. And I got it from Modelo Man, and it's probably been sitting there since the 90s. You know, I have to ask that man, what is his name? Because I don't want to get him fired. Like his boss sees me one day and is like, oh, this is Modelo Man. Even though I think he drinks with his boss, I could be wrong.
So let's take a poll. In the chat, do you have a Costco membership, a Sam's membership, no membership, and what do you like to get there? I want to know.
Do you remember Pace?
Pace?
Yeah.
The salsa?
That too, but there was a place called Pace. It was a membership. It was a wannabe Costco back in the day.
It sounds vaguely familiar, but you know, I could be retconning my memory. I don't know.
We had one that was weirdly close. And the only reason, you know why I remember it is because anywhere where you give me free food, I will remember you. So as a kid, like I loved going to Gemco because I'd always get a Slurpee. And I loved going to Pace because it was just like Costco and they had somebody in every aisle.
When I was a kid, I remember we had, was it Gemco that became Fedco or Fedco that became Gemco? I can't remember.
That's a really good question. We had one right by my house. Rashawn says, Sam's mostly paper goods, but I get a good deal. I get a good deal on a laptop that turned out to be a bad deal.
Oh.
You know what? That's actually a really good point because I bought Isaiah a laptop at Walmart and it's still rocking. To this day, he uses it every day. He lives on that thing. Probably watching on it right now.
If you're there, hi hands.
No, he's all he's all into MMA now. It's, you know what? It's weird. As a parent, like my little boy has turned into a man. I gotta let him be a man. But I miss it when he was a little guy.
No.
And he let me dress him like a cholo. Or like I'd put a hockey, like I have I don't know what I was thinking. I have an authentic Montreal Canadiens jersey. I've had it for years and years and years. And one time, I don't know what I was thinking, I allowed it to go in the dryer.
Uh-oh.
It went from like something that was double XL to my son wore it when he was in elementary school.
Oh no.
It shrunk because it was authentic. Like it was older than it's older than me. It's like probably like 55, 60 years old.
Oh my
And I don't
goodness.
know why I washed it. So I have a mini Montreal Canadiens jersey that I wore forever. I learned a
Oh.
lesson though. So none of those stores are near me. An hour and a half away. That's
Oh.
awful.
Yeah. That takes out any benefit of price savings.
I've been thinking about this because I'm gonna be moving within the next 2 years. I'm telling myself that I'm putting my foot down. Um, is it worth it to live on the outskirts of a city? Because I don't know if I want to live in the city anymore.
Well, I think it depends on the city. I mean, I think there's something to be said for having access to things like concerts and theater and, you know, large appliances and stuff like that. I think that there's some benefit to that. I don't think I would want to live like completely isolated, but maybe in a small town that's not far from a major city. How about everybody else? City or country for you? They make all these shows like Escape to the Country and stuff, and people like to go, and they have this dream of a farm and chickens, but I don't know. I think I would feel kind of isolated in that situation.
Do you know what? As somebody who lives in the city and deals with chickens and horses, I don't want to deal with any of that. I'm in the middle. I like Joy's idea. I want to live somewhere where I can see the city.
Mm.
But I want the conveniences of the city. Like, I want to be able to go to Sam's and like where we live, like where I live, I have a selection of multiple places to go.
Mm-hmm.
Just by my house, there's a Michael's, there's a Joann's, Hobby Lobby. You know.
Yeah.
Hey, don't forget did you take a shower?
Yeah.
All right. You did?
Yeah.
Cool beans, man. Cool beans. Enjoy your life. I love you. Sorry, that was a parenting moment from my so-called No, because in this MMA class, they get gross. So,
Mhm.
when he comes home, I'm like, take a shower, bro. Like, take a shower. I want to live somewhere. I like the convenience of like when I'm at my shop, I'm out in the middle of nowhere, but I can drive a couple minutes and go to like a Subway, which I haven't gone to in forever, but there's like a grocery store right there.
Mhm.
You know, we have great live music here, vineyards, small shops, and restaurants. I miss that. Like when I lived in Portland, they had culture like that. Like it was like New York without the weather. Every different neighborhood was something different, And this was 20 years ago. If you hear me say anything romantic about Portland, Oregon, this was literally 20 years ago. I don't know. And like I said, I almost moved in 2020, and this is not a political channel, but because of the election, I didn't move. And I'm
Mm.
glad I didn't. But also, I honestly, could you vacate the state that you live in right now? Or are you like content with the state that you live in?
Um, let's see. Not to get too political, but I am a woman of color. And I have vacated the state I live in on occasion for, travel and whatnot. And I kind of like not being called the N-word. You know,
So that's a no.
yeah, there are a lot of places where a woman of color, you've got to make a pretty serious choice to move there. And also, I'm a wimpy Californian, and so severe weather is a lot for me. So that cuts out some places.
You know what though? You acclimate. Like when I lived up north, I didn't think I ever got used to the weather. But when I came back to California, I was perpetually hot.
Yeah, you acclimate, but Portland weather is different from Montana but
You had to go straight to the snow, huh?
I was thinking about when I was finishing up my master's, I was thinking about where I would go for my doctorate. And I'm like, okay, politics, weather, what does that leave me? Maybe I should go abroad.
Okay, but let's take the politics out of it. Like, I couldn't root for the San Francisco Giants. Like, if I
I
moved up north, I would be I love baseball. I would be at the stadium wearing Dodger gear crying. They wouldn't be playing the Dodgers. I'd be wearing Dodger gear.
I don't have a tie like that to any particular sports team, so that does take some of the pressure off for me.
Hockey. I'm a die-hard Los Angeles Kings fan. I've been watching them since I was a child. Clippers fan. I love the Clippers. I would be at every game if they and well, I could live in a city without a sports team. I'll never go south of the Mason-Dixon line ever again. I'm sure there are great people, too many a-holes to fight through to get them. There's so many hours in the day. I get that. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Oh, well, I knew this young white girl. She was on the gymnastics team with me from she had gone to the local high school, and so when she graduated and was going to college, she got into Tulane University. And I say white girl because she was, the whole, like, she was a gymnast, slender, perky, kind of blonde, blue eyes, and she was back after one semester. And I said, "Oh, what happened?" And she just got a very serious look on her face. And she said, "Too much prejudice." And she said that in a way that indicated she wasn't looking to have any further conversation about it. So I'm just trying to think of, what could have gone so horribly wrong at Tulane University for the young white girl. But
great. So now that I'm stuck in the state of California. All right, we're having this conversation. I'm just gonna get a houseboat like MacGyver then. Solved. Actually, no, I would never want a houseboat.
I mean, they're interesting in theory, but I have a feeling that they have some issues in practice. Pardon me. Apparently, I'm new to drinking, and I
have a hole in my lip as well.
My face.
I have a hole in my lip as well. No judgment whatsoever. Wow, when a girl that could pass for Ava Braun is complaining about prejudice.
Pretty much. And I don't know.
What? I was lulled into complacency being here though, because when I traveled around America, I was shocked. But like, it is, okay. So Hans kind of wanted to move to Nevada, but Nevada, if anyone lives in Nevada, I love you, but your crime rates are scary.
Now, does the part of Nevada you're in affect those statistics? I would imagine that a place like Las Vegas might have a significantly higher or lower crime rate than other parts of the state.
Nevada is like Wyoming, where no one lives there. So people are all congregated in certain cities. Mm-hmm. So if you name a major city in Nevada, that any city that you name in Nevada, that means thousands of people live there and they do not inhabit anywhere else. Because Nevada is desert, it's rock. It's one of those weird places. New Mexico's the same place. There, man, as compared to like Arizona, no one lives in New Mexico. And I'm saying this numbers wise. This is in no way, shape, or form a point of contention. I'm not trying to put one state against another, you know. But I'm just saying, as far as population goes, I was thinking about moving to Wyoming, and I know someone that lives there, and he was like, no. But he didn't say anything about politics. He just said like people never leave their homes, and they're not necessarily nice to people who move there.
Mm.
He's from where I'm from.
Hmm. Oh dear. Kilroy says the only people that live outside of the city in Nevada are meth chefs and people in the witness protection program.
And people in hardcore MCs, like people in hardcore biker gang. Oh, I wonder, Alexa, does Nevada have motorcycle helmet laws?
Nevada has motorcycle helmet laws. All motorcyclists are required by law to wear helmets while riding in the state of Nevada.
Alexa, thank you. I don't know why that thing.
Absolutely.
I don't know why
Happy
that.
to help.
I don't know why that
Hope you had a
thing.
good Wednesday.
It is interrupting me like I interrupt other people. I don't know why that thing turns itself down.
I think someone's trolling you.
When I'm in here by myself, I randomly ask the A word, like, A word, who won the World Series in 1945? A word, how much does the ocean weigh?
So I have a question for you. What is your opinion on helmets?
If you like life, wear a helmet. There are certain things that we did because they looked cool or because people did them in the past. We have the information from the past that they didn't have. We have the benefit of being in the future and knowing that if you fall not wearing a helmet, it could be potentially fatal. So to me, it's not negotiable. I'm just surprised that Nevada changed the law, because back in the day, people used to take their helmets off at the border, but you can't do that anymore. But I already said meth shop. It's true. It's true. You know, it's really funny. We look at like where I live, we look at people who live in like Slab City like that. And you know what, YouTube? I love you. I love you, YouTube, but please stop going to Slab City, to all these weird unincorporated places in California. Because they're showing how the scary people of California, like they're showing the real desert people of California. Unless you want to be the real life $6 million man, wear a helmet. If you're lucky.
I was asking because I've heard some say, a helmet doesn't do anything. It just lets you have an open casket funeral, blah, blah, blah.
No, the helmet keeps your brains in your head. It's a lot of helmets are lined with concrete for a reason. Like helmets are there. That's, you know what? I'm a purist in a lot of things. You'll never catch me not wearing a helmet. But I also grew up around horses. And when you're learning to ride, you need to wear a helmet, and people don't think that they do until they fall off. You know, you could, like, I don't know. I've just seen too much. I'm a cautious person in that sense. There's a whole list of things that you'll never see me doing. And I'm too old for hot doggy stuff. Like, I'll never stand on a bike. There's all kinds of stuff you won't see me do anymore.
Oh, I remember one night I was trying to get home and I ended up in a herd of motorcyclists who were doing stupid shit like that, standing on their bicycles, their arms out like they were the king of the world. And I couldn't get around because, they were ahead of me and they had fallen. I didn't want to run one of them over. It was so annoying.
Can I just tell you, your area is famous for that crowd.
Is it? Ugh.
From down, it's a weird thing. Around here, we get more like bikers, but like from downtown on, there's a lot of hot dogs. I saw some guy hot dogging in downtown, and I was like, I know you're under 40, bro. I know you're because he was doing it in the city, and I'm like, oh, you're brave. You're brave. You know what though? That does get annoying though. Like you're just trying to go home. I'm a solo person. And like I'm the kind of person that would go from like here to the middle of nowhere just because I want the ride.
I mean, it was bad enough that they were being dumb and risking their lives, but to like put me at risk of running one of them over. And then also it's like, okay, pick a lane. If you want to do that, you stay over there and let the rest of us drive past you over here.
That's why most people can't hang with power. Because when they get power, they act crazy. Because there is a certain power in numbers when you and your friends are like, no one can stop you and your friends, you know. But then they realize no one can stop them. It's an arrogance.
Yeah. Well, you know, entitlement, lack of consideration, all of those things.
Helmets absolutely do things every day. They turn life altering events into just an annoyance. Absolutely. I watched a young man fly off of. I was at a stop sign, and this young man got in a accident, and he skidded, I think 300 feet.
Wow.
He was going so fast. He flew right in front of me. Like it was like a bad movie. I was leaving Walmart. I dropped my son off from school. Familiar story. This was years ago. He was at elementary school. And long story short, when I ran up to him, half of his helmet was completely eroded away, but he was saved.
Wow.
Half of his helmet was just completely he was trashed, but he lived to tell the story. And he still rides. I see him all around town.
Wow.
I can't believe this became a helmet episode. Hey kids, don't smoke, wear helmets. Oh. Oh, I got served today by the stoner kids. These kids came out of a car. I'm like, familiar smell. And they were like, sir. I think it's my hat. It's my hat. I was like, get out of here, even though I am old enough to be all of your parents.
I hate it when I go up to the register somewhere and they ma'am me.
Out of here. Out of here. I don't feel like a sir. Do I walk around like the Duke? The Duke of Los Angeles or what? You know, I thought I would. Sorry. I thought I would get over that.
No.
I thought I would get over that, you know. Helmets are as personally, I think if you're going over 25 miles an hour on two-wheel device, you're not right in the head. Towing without a net with the helmet. You know, and I'll tell you why. It's because I crashed when I was younger. Not wearing a helmet, hot dogging, and everybody was like, they were using the M word. It's a miracle. But when you're young, I'm gonna say this with love. When you're young, you're dumb, and I just popped right up. I was just out of ignorance and everything. I was like, wow, and everyone's like, dude, how did you live through that? You know, now people would be telling lies at my funeral. So I get it, you know. But again, I do not do the same crazy things that I did when I was younger at all. Even driving. After my car accident, even my son noticed today. He's like, you know, he's like, you don't, you really have slowed down. People are passing me. I'm like, I left the house with a reasonable amount of time. I don't know about anybody else. I give myself time. See, this is why I'm always early. I give myself time to be early. So even if I'm cruising, I'm still there early. But I give respect to the youngsters. Like a while ago, I saw these guys peeling out on the freeway, and I was like, young kids, Then I saw him at the dispensary, and there was 2 young men on one motorcycle doing like 110 on the freeway.
Oh my goodness.
And I saw him at the dispensary, and I was like, you know what? You guys make me miss being young. And they were like, yeah. And I was like, yeah. But in my head, I was like, you both are lucky to be alive.
Mm,
But you know what? They had a great story. It's scary when you're on the freeway like that.
I wouldn't, but
I wouldn't, just because the cops are looking for people like that.
true.
I can't. I think I have enough material for this shirt. Let's see. I got served. What else happened today? There was all kinds of craziness where I was like, am I not seeing my age? What did I do with my rotary tool? That screams. When you can't find stuff, it screams, take a break.
Doesn't your rotary tool have a home it lives in?
It does, but I walk around with stuff, and this room is growing. The
Mm.
great, the great reset is going to happen in this room.
I look forward to seeing that. I love a good organization project.
Oh, it's gonna take a while, and it's gonna take me putting stuff in the hallway. I did the math, and it doesn't make sense to speed. You only save 3 to 7 minutes at best, unless you're driving a stupid long way. Just leave 15 to 20 minutes early and take a big mug of coffee. That's what I do. But I love reading. So like when I take my son places, I drop him off. He's early, but when I pick him up, I get there a little early so I can read.
Yeah.
Like in his and I once again learned the lesson. I forgot how heavy Giovanni's room is.
Hmm.
And I'm sitting there reading it, and I'm like, oh, I forgot how heavy this book was. So I'm on day 3 of, I think I should pick a different book to read at the MMA class. But it's such a good read, but it's emotional. It grabs you. It makes you feel things. Like I'm reading it, and I'm like, oh, I forgot about that. Didn't pay attention to this. It's just a good book. It's well written. And so, I'm gonna have to go back to Star Wars books. and then my son was like, really? A James Baldwin book? Because he knows they're heavier than a Kenmore. He knows.
Sometimes, you're just in the mood for certain things. Different books for different moods and occasions.
But I had a narcissism book, and it was too heavy for me as well. I was like, I can't be reading it. I have a book that's about internet narcissism.
Oh goodness.
It's a case study that someone did. That's why I love my Kindle. It's so light. I can hold it up with my thumb and finger if I want. That's awesome. Yeah, hello, butterfly. Great to see you. Yay.
How you feeling?
Hello. How are you feeling? Great to see you. Awesome. Hello. But I have no in between. It's either like something extremely heavy or Star Wars or Star Trek, or I think I should just start from zero again and start over all my Star Trek books. Plus, you could be like me and carry 800 plus books in the same weight as one. Well, right now I have a couple books in my car, but I don't know. I'm rotating, and I get Scientific American. And so that's the beautiful thing about being able to sit in front of my son's MMA class. Today, I was reading about evolution in lizards in Uruguay. It's actually a really interesting article. I was like, wow.
Kilroy, do you have a cover for your Kindle that makes it look like an antique book?
I need to find that meme of whoever that person was who had crazy titles on the book in New York subway.
Yes.
That's a good way. If you like, I consider some of my vests to be people repellent. Like I'll walk in, people don't know I'm nice. I'll walk in, they're like, oof, and I'm like, good. I didn't want to talk to you anyways. But I was watching a video where someone had some not so flattering titles on those books. Nobody would sit near them. Nobody. And I'm like, oh, I need to get those covers. I need to get all of those covers.
I've been seeing ads on Instagram also for some glasses wipes made to look like old paper bags, dirty socks, stuff like that. I think I mentioned this on the stream before, but they amuse me.
So I have to pose the question now that everyone's here. Is 28 years old too old to be in a class with like 12 to 16 or 17-year-olds?
Was that guy back again?
Yesterday. Young Mr. Sewing hits it every day. So there's people that only come on Thursdays, people that come on Wednesdays and Tuesdays, you know. Nope, I just have stickers on the back. The back looks like hell, though. The grippy rubber coating went bad and got sticky and nasty, so now I have to melt it off with nail polish remover. So you work out your brain while he works out his mind. Absolutely. I'm a firm believer in that, though. When I was younger, I would walk up to my brother because he's significantly older than me, and I would be like, look how buff I am. Look at me. And I would do like a pose like I was in WWF, and he'd walk up to me and he'd squeeze my head. He'd be like, up, still soft. You need to read books. And, you know, so he was trying to teach me balance. Like, it's okay to be ripped, but you have to, like, you know, be able to articulate yourself. Thank you. 28 absolutely is too old to be in a class with middle teens. Isaiah's bigger than him. I still do not care. And I had this conversation with somebody that I knew when I was 28, and I reminded them of what we were doing when we were 28.
Maybe you need to have a conversation with the MMA instructor. Express
I'm
your
gonna have my ex-wife do it because he's scared of me. And I think if I come at him in a certain angle, like he might take it wrong. Because people look at me a certain way, I don't think they see me as like, I don't know what they see me as, but they think I'm this tough guy. I'm a concerned parent like anybody else. You know, and obviously I care because I'm still talking about it, and I have a rule: if you're still talking about it, you care.
Well, if you happen to discuss it with him, don't wear the vest that says F your feelings.
Well, this grown man, he's little. I was skinny. I remember, I don't think I was ever that skinny, ever, but I was thin, you know, until I hit 40, and, you know, we've all heard the story a million times. Now I don't fit in my Star Trek uniform anymore. But my whole point is, I was never, at 28, I wasn't that skinny. And maybe it's maybe that's his physiology, you know? Maybe I'm overthinking it. And he's not special needs because I flat out asked him. Because I don't mess around. I wasn't like, hey, are you special needs? But I was like, hey, where'd you graduate high school? Blah, blah, blah. And he told me all of his stats. Why is he in the class? Is he mentally 28? See, that's the thing. As someone who works with special needs adults, he does not fit any of the parameters, and he drove there. And where I live, people with disabilities are not allowed to get a driver's license in the state of California. And the list is long of what you can and cannot have. It's a debatable conversation, but if it's anything to do with a mental disability, you cannot have a driver's license in the state of California. It's just weird. Maybe everybody else seems way too chill about it. I'm that guy in the crowd where everybody's kind of not saying anything. I'm like, I have a question. This is why I'm really bad in cults, because I ask a gang of questions. Thank you, butterfly. I've always had a spare tire, but that's because I'm a freak and have a massive rib cage. The only way for me to get a flat stomach is to shrink ray on my rib cage. I hit 40 and I don't think I'll ever have a flat stomach again. Ever. Ever. And I'm okay with it.
I tend to put on weight everywhere until it kind of settles in my hips. But I have this little belly pooch. It's the bane of my existence. I can be like almost at my goal weight, and the last weight that has to go is the little belly pooch. It's so annoying.
You know what I do it's not, I don't even have a bad feeling. It's just, I'm old school. If he's 28, he should be in the class that's after my son, where it's grown men. There's people my age in that class. There's people older. I respect all. Man, when I see all this 60s and 70s, I'm high-fiving people as they walk in. Like, good for you, you know.
Are there other super small people in the adult class?
He is the smallest.
Because I wonder again if maybe the teacher said to come to the earlier class because he was so tiny.
He is when I say 130, he's probably like 125. Like, he's frail. I say that, and I'm not trying to be mean. Like, I come from a long line of big boned people. So I'm like, and that's another thing. I'm like, you know, I'm always telling my son, eat something. Eat something. Here, you need to eat 4 meals a day. We're hobbits. Eat something. You can't be skinny around me. It's my parent thing. When I was in the hospital, they took x-rays of my lungs to rule out everything they could. They said they'd only take 2 x-rays. My lungs are so huge, they had to take 7.
Did that make you good at athletics, Kilroy? Swimming or anything? Playing the tuba?
I could imagine playing the tuba. I wear a size 13 shoe, and I'm not that tall. It makes me really good at swimming. I still glide through the water. I wondered about that. So maybe, and you know what? Maybe I'm being over analytical.
Well, that's why I keep saying you should have a conversation with the instructor about it. Because, you know, maybe you're like, and not that you still wouldn't have concerns, but maybe it would at least focus your concerns.
I bet you're good at swimming, Kilroy. Are you talking about wrestling? Is there physical contact with others in the class? I would feel weird about it if this also. It's yes, it's mixed martial arts. So they're doing everything. They're boxing, they're grappling, they're doing what I consider karate, even though my son gets so mad when I say that. It's every art form that particular instructor knows. This person actually does tournaments. Like, this person goes around, he's like accredited. He's been on, I've seen him on ESPN. I know this guy, you know, and he's from my hometown, so, you know. But I don't know. It's just weird to me. And here it is, the 3rd time I'm bringing it up. And I have a rule: if you're still talking about it, it's an issue. And I put it in my notes because I wanted, you know, it was something to talk about. But yesterday, I'm sitting there reading my book. And for anyone who doesn't know, I am friends with my ex-wife's husband. He walks up with his son, who's my buddy, and I'm like, "What's up?" It's like cheers. He's my friend. He walks up, I'm like, "What's up, bro?" I give him a hug. We're talking, and because I was setting him up for this one, I said, "Hey, look at that guy over there." He said, "Yeah." I said, "How old do you think he is?" And Marquette looked at me and he's like, "Oh, he's 14. I said, "He's 28. Marquette put his son down and looked at me and said, "What?" We just stood there because we didn't know what to do. We both were like, "Huh?" I said, I told you. Like, everybody thinks I'm crazy, but he reacted as well. He was like, "Oh, that's weird." Because we're grown. Like, he's 3 years younger than me, but we're grown men, you know? So I have reservations, you know? I have reservations. I don't have an athletic body. I don't have bone in my body. I grew up swimming in rivers, though. One time I swam 500 yards in the bank and back, so I'm good at that. I've always been a nerd. Got my ham radio license when I was 15. And there is contact. And it's like they're sparring and everything, but people do get punched in the face. With boxing gloves on. It's mixed martial arts. I know you're not a fan at all.
I just would not want to be punched in the face.
It's a different world. It's a different world from where you come from. Did you watch that show or did you live it back then?
Both. I mean, I suppose I went away to college, so I guess I lived it, but I didn't really watch it.
I think because I was kind of a sick kid, I was always watching television. And so, I identify with all of these shows. I don't know. Maybe, like I said, the guy is kind of scrawny. And if he's 28 and he's that size and my son's still growing and I think it's the hair that makes him tower over everybody. It's his Chico DeBarge fro. Well, no, he kind of looks like El DeBarge now. Which, if anybody is into DeBarge, they still tour. They still go around.
Nice.
Maybe he has some kind of disorder to be short.
Maybe he only has one lung.
Oh, what? I thought I was on the face thing. I had this conversation with somebody today. Hold on, let me say what I said that. Hold on, let me get my face. Not buying it. Not as somebody who has bad lungs, you wouldn't be in an MMA class. If you had one lung, you would not be in the MMA class. I told you I actually have experience with somebody who had one lung. They were not kickboxing. I don't know. Maybe it's my parent spidey sense is going off. But again, I was sensitive today. I dropped them off for the first time in like 4 or 5 years,
Yeah. Resentful at being called sir. You had a lot of feelings today.
And you know what? Of all the kids, it was the stoner kids who got out of the car. And I'm like, oh, I remember you guys. Even though high school for me was, let's see. Let's do the math. Yikes, is it 2024? It was 29 years ago. 28, 29 years. Yikes. Was it really that? It really was that long ago. But anyways, my whole point is, yeah, because it's 2024. That was 28 years ago. Anyways, it made me laugh when they got out of the car and they were all trying to be nonchalant. I got 5 sirs. Sir. And then the mouthy one was like, how are you doing? I was like, I'm well. How are you? Have a great night, Butterfly. Thank you for stopping by. See you Saturday. Hopefully I'm going to get some sewing room decluttering done.
Ooh.
I know I need to do that. I need to do that so bad. I'm going to make like my 5th or 6th video of, I'm going to make a really honest video of why you shouldn't have a walk-in closet if you're a hoarder. Because it just becomes a place to store your Viking hoarding of clothing,
Your robe hoard.
That's not too far from the truth. I literally do have a robe. Shame to shame. I think we need a good old classic shaming. I'm gonna have a stream that's like, let's shame sewing into. But in the past 2 or 3 years, I've donated over 600 t-shirts.
I can't believe I missed an opportunity to say hosen hoard. Because
I did 300 a couple years ago.
Good gracious.
And then I in the equivalent of almost 300 last year.
You haven't accidentally repurchased them, have you?
No, the first 300 I drove to a different county. I'm not kidding you. I'm not kidding you. And I went somewhere where I knew I would never go thrifting, and then I bought a few things there and left. I was like, okay, as long as I don't come back. But I gave a lot of the stuff to a place in Los Angeles. It's called My Friend's Place. They help homeless youth. It's an amazing place. And so when I give stuff to them, I know it's going straight to people. Like it's going like there's no middle person. No one's getting paid to like, the kids are sorting through the clothes. They're washing them. It's we've got to have an old fashioned rotten tomato pelting. I thought about that. I wanted where do they do that? Where they throw the tomatoes?
Yeah, there's that town, but you shouldn't go, and clearly Kilroy's trying to kill you.
No, I always forget I have a tomato allergy. Like I'd have more luck going to Pamplona to Spain than to go where I'm gonna have to look that up where they throw the tomatoes.
Ask A word.
How would I ask that question?
Where's the tomato festival or the tomato throwing festival?
Alexa, what country has the tomato festival where they're throwing tomatoes at each other?
Spain hosts the yearly tomato celebration known as La Tomatina, during which participants hurl tomatoes at one another.
Makes
Tens
sense.
of thousands of people participate in the festival, which takes place in the town of Buñol in Valencia.
Alexa, thank you.
You're so welcome.
Man,
Your kindness really gives me a charge.
Spain.
Yeah.
Spain, they're lit in Spain. They run at Bulls. They throw tomato. Does no one have a tomato allergy in Spain? I thought gazpacho was for chill people. I didn't know that. For some reason, I thought it was Spain. I thought it was Italy also for some reason.
I don't know. Either way, I won't be going.
We should go. I need someone to jab me with the EpiPen every 15 minutes.
No, I can't
be
stand
blazing
tomatoes. Raw tomatoes? Oh, the stench would kill me. I'd be incapacitated and unable to save you with the EpiPen.
There's a few places that because of that very statement that I don't think I'd be able to go to like a 3-day festival again. Like Coachella. I don't think I'll ever be able to go to Coachella, Stagecoach. What else is held in California? All that stuff that the yuppies talk about. I don't think I'll be able to go to any of that. Because what they don't tell you is that on day 3, everybody smells the same. And they smell like barn animals. Do you know what's so funny? When I was younger, I would go to festivals. I would travel. I've been to Stagecoach just because I wanted to say that I've been there. And I actually had a good time. You couldn't pay me. You couldn't pay me to go now. Even if I had an RV, if I had the full setup, you couldn't pay me. I drove to Vegas for the Tupac hologram. I wouldn't even leave the house if I knew it was just a box and Snoop Dogg rapping in front of a giant box. Oh. Not rotten apples, though. Those things are still hard on the inside. That would be awful.
Huh.
I told you I grew up with a apricot tree. 0 stars. Would not recommend.
I never noticed a bad smell from the apricot tree that I had. Just delicious apricots. And a little baby possum in the tree one time. I told you about that, didn't I? The little baby possum.
I think you did.
Yeah.
Aww. See, possums have a purpose. Possums fill out W-2s. They come to your door and they're like, hey, I eat ticks. I keep Lyme disease away. Tell me what raccoons do besides eat trash and spread rumors.
Spread rumors?
They put neighbors against each other. Hey, that guy's got a better car than you.
Goodness.
I used to have big plans of driving all over the country. Now I just want to go to the park or library or the coffee shop. I did that. You have to really love somebody. I drove from Santa Monica to Savannah, Georgia, from Savannah, Georgia up to Maine, all the way back to Santa Monica. You have to really like somebody. I mean, really.
I drove across Canada with my grandmother a couple times. Other times we took the train. And then I've been on like vacation to the UK with my mother or my honorary cousin. And that's, a lot of driving around, looking at the scenery, chatting, playing games, eating snacks.
Yeah, but I love the UK, but the UK is the size of Kentucky.
Well, but if you're spending 3 weeks driving around it, it doesn't matter how big it is.
True. No. Okay. And no, that's like, okay, I understand what you're saying.
Yeah.
Sorry, American exceptionalism. I'm always trying to say that we're bigger. But we're bigger. See, this is what it's about. It's not always about what crazy concoction I'm sewing. It's about having a good time, making fun of me because I bought a fake Stanley Cup. Look how huge this is. Keep in mind, I have an 8 head. My head is huge.
I'm just glad you filled it with water and not espresso.
No. I get wonky on espresso. I don't know what it is. It still grabs me to this very day.
I get nothing from espresso.
You don't get that it doesn't stop the 2 in the afternoon feeling.
No, I've literally fallen asleep while drinking a latte.
I felt that earlier. Like I was drinking espresso while Isaiah was in his class, and I suddenly felt like I was gonna fall asleep. Because today was semi-emotional day and I did a lot of running around as well.
I mean, espresso doesn't make me drowsy. Like I have a friend and caffeine can make her drowsy, but it doesn't do that. It just I get no kick from caffeine.
I'm laughing because I don't do things unless they have an effect. I'm kidding. Says the guy who drinks coffee all day.
I drink it for the taste, despite what Kilroy might say when Kilroy learns I put cream and a little tiny bit of sugar in it. I still drink it for the taste, I swear.
So you and I drink coffee the same then?
I like a nice latte.
I call what I drink the poor man's latte because I've been drinking it since I was a child. But like the older I get, the less cream and more sugar and coffee there is. But I'm weird. Like I told you, I like extremely strong coffee, so I mix all three. Like I'll get extremely strong coffee, but I also want to taste the creamer and the sugar. I know, diabetes. I know.
You could wean yourself back, like because it takes time for your palate to adjust.
If we were standing at a table, I have one of those sugar spouts like they have at restaurants, like a Denny's or an IHOP. I guarantee you would physically grab it out of my hands because I go by I count to 45.
Oh my goodness. I was picking up a sandwich and the place, had like iced tea and they had the simple syrup there for sweetening your tea. I saw a lady put 7 pumps in her cup of iced tea. I was astonished.
Okay, so sugar is actually, from the earth. Simple syrup will put you in the hospital as someone who worked at a Starbucks.
Oh,
Coincidentally, it's the
the,
same Starbucks that I got shunned by Lenny Kravitz.
oh goodness.
I
Here,
just
I
want
got
to.
it.
I like seeing your eyes roll.
Have to interrupt you. Rashawn's taking off. I thought you'd want to say goodbye.
Have a great evening. Thank you for stopping by. Thank you. As always, you're always welcome here in the House of Sewing. Thank you for stopping by. Good times, good times. And I will never stop talking about the time I got shunned or shushed by Lenny Kravitz.
Oh.
Still not over it.
In Lenny's defense, you were outing him and shouting about him on the street corner.
I just got out of work. And like I told him, I'm a grown A man, Lenny. And I stormed off. And he
I wonder if you're an...
Oh, go ahead.
I wonder if you're an anecdote for him too. You know, he talks about the time there was some guy shouting at the street, and then it's like it's about I'm a grown man and stomped off.
I guarantee you, Lenny and I are telling the same story, just in different seats. Just in different seats. You know why? And I'll tell you, it's because when I worked at that Starbucks, I saw a ton of famous people, and no one ever was like, I was never like, oh, I met Renee Zellweger face to face, didn't react. Sarah Silverman, regardless of her politics, is a humanitarian. She respects anyone that's around her. I don't care what anyone says about her politics. I didn't even like her until I met her in person. And I'm like, oh my gosh, like she respects people.
But were you shouting about any of these people on the street corner?
I met Matthew Perry. He was so kind and so nice.
Did you yell out, Matthew Perry?
I did that.
Point.
I did that to John Cryer, and he spoke to me. And I apologized. I said, I am so sorry. I don't know what happened. He's like, it's okay. Because I'm sure it happens to him all the time where people see John Cryer could hang. He didn't shush me. John Cryer talked to me about an episode of 2.5 Men that I had just watched that he probably filmed 3 years before we had the conversation. I forgot about that. John Cryer is a man's man. And in a weird way, Sean Hayes is too. See, I shouted at Sean Hayes and he shouted back at me.
Well, you know, that seems very much in character for Sean Hayes.
So Lenny is a little bit too reserved for my... It's just a good YouTube story. I hope he never hears me still crying about this 20 years later. When I do become famous and I have the Sewing Olympics, I will invite Lenny Kravitz. Because he doesn't get invited to any award show, so I'll invite him to mine.
You should make him an awesome coat and send it to him.
Alexa, how tall is Lenny Kravitz?
Lenny Kravitz is 5 feet 9 inches tall.
I have a bunch of awesome coats for Lenny Kravitz. I don't even have to make him a coat. Oh, that's funny.
Let's see. Kilroy. Sean Hayes was in that show Will and Grace. He played the sassy neighbor.
Awesome human.
Saw that.
Amazing human.
Plays piano. And then John Cryer, he was Ducky in Pretty in Pink, and now he plays what's his name on 2.5 Men. Does that ring any bells for you? Maybe the older.
He's the dad, and now he has a new show with Faison Love and somebody else, and I think I'm gonna watch it just because he was nice to me when I met him. And I'm not even kidding. He's a class act, an absolute class act. And I told you my Mr. Cooper story, but John Cryer is an absolute class act. And Mr. Cooper is another person who's a man's man. When I say man's man, they were just being nice. That's all. And I'm saying that non-facetiously for Sean Hayes because he definitely was the alpha in that relationship. And he has two African children, so I walked right up to him and I was like, "You guys are beautiful." He's a good guy. He's a good guy.
Why did I think you had cut the sleeve already?
Oh, how did I do that? I'm glad I didn't put anybody in a timeout. How did I do that? Sorry, I'm touching buttons on my phone because I don't know what I'm doing.
Poor Seraphim. It's been locked out for an hour and a half.
Seriously.
If you're lurking, Seraphim, hello, and I'm sorry again that I put you in timeout. Hey, Hands.
World famous Hands.
How's it going?
I have just enough material. Well, they're bad at math, but I have enough material.
How much did they say was there?
I should have got my stick out, but they said it was 4, but there's no way this is 4 yards because this takes 3 yards and I'm barely hitting it. And they claimed this was 4 yards. But you know what though? That's on me because I got burnt last time from my local Walmart. They really cannot do math.
Well, I guess next time you can ask them to measure it.
One of the reasons I stopped asking them is because no one would show up when I hit the button.
Huh.
Or I'd have to go during a certain time when this one woman who works there, you know what's so funny? The second she found out that I speak Spanish, she refuses to speak English to me. And I answer her back in English, and she tells me, she's like, "I know you speak Spanish. You can understand me." I was like, "I know I do." And then she's like, "I'm going to keep going."
I'm not fluent, so I save my Spanish for emergencies. I figure anyone who's suffering through my Spanish must just be desperate. But every once in a while.
She's also a chismosa in the wrong direction because she's talking about everybody, and I'm like, I don't know these people. I just would like some fabric. How come you can't be like the Modelo Man? The Modelo Man literally is singing "Be Our Guest" by the Beauty and the Beast song.
Mm-hmm.
Modelo Man and I are in there with top hats and canes singing "Put It on the Ritz." And this woman's talking trash about everybody on her shift. And then, like, she trained this young man and he's never around. And I know way too much about my local Walmart fabric section. I have to thank them, though. They were so atrocious, it led me to go out and seek other places. That hand looks like it could use a smoke. You know what? He'll never smoke because he grew up around smokers. And he sees the ills. He sees like people in the morning.
Ugh.
It's weird. Statistics are funny that way. Let's see. You know what? Out of 9 people in my family, I'm probably the only person who smoked nicotine besides my father. None of them. And they were all around him longer than I was. Well, I equaled it out towards the end of his life. Oh my gosh, did they tie it? Why are we the worst team in the league? Sorry, that was real sewing. I cut character on that. My hockey team makes me want to cry sometimes. We're playing the Buffalo Sabres and they tied it up. We were up 3-1. And I look up and they're tied. Oh, anyways. Gotta love the chisme. Do you know what I have stuck in my head?
Hmm.
Every little step I make will be to. Ever since I made that code, it has popped up on my playlist, and also because my cell phone's sitting here, so any song I bring up, when I refresh, magically it's waiting for me.
Well, I could send you some more stuff, liven up your playlist.
You set an army of gnomes into my playlist. And you know what's funny? I'm into abstract stuff. I'm into some but you are. You know what's really funny? Now I know how people feel when I send them stuff, and they're like, "Oh wow!" Like you sent me like they were gnomes. Tell me they
I
were not gnome. Those were gnome people.
I was shocked myself. I sent it to you for the wow factor, not for personal enthusiasm.
It still pops up. But you know what though? I weirdly got into Viking throat singing, but that's epic. And now, like, there was a show. I almost went to one of their shows, but they were sold out. And then they won't be back to this country. I'll be like, I'll be like 47 when they come back. Oh,
That's not as far away as you think.
do you want to see me cry on stream? Is that what you're trying to do? You want to see me cry? I'll cry right now.
Well, if you're going to complain about 47 being old, I feel
No, no,
personally
no. I'm not
attacked.
saying that it's old in no way, shape, or form.
Backpedal much?
In no way, shape, or form. Hold on, let me backpedal. No way, shape, or form am I saying that. I'm just saying they announced their dates, and I know they won't be back for a while. Like I took Isaiah to see Sabathon, and they're from Warsaw. They make all their money in Europe, but they got famous. They had some really good albums, and they did an American tour. I doubt they'll be back in America, you know, within the next couple of years. I doubt. That was a cool show. They drove a tank on stage.
What? How can the stage even support that weight? It must have been like, it couldn't have been a tank.
It was at the Staples Center. Well, the artist formerly known as the Staples Center. It's now the Crypto Arena, which the Kings are tied in the third period.
What was the Staples Center called before it was the Staples Center?
It was always the Staples Center because they moved from the Forum to the Staples Center. They played in the Forum in Inglewood. The Lakers and the Kings played at the Forum in Inglewood, and then they moved to downtown. And that's when the Clippers, who played at the sports arena in the heart of Los Angeles, they all moved into the Staples Center.
But it was built specially. It wasn't a something before then.
No, it was built to house multiple teams. It has multiple franchises there, And the Clippers are actually right now, they're building some billion-dollar stadium in Inglewood. And you know what? For all we say about sports and everything, building that stadium has brought their employment rate from 13% to 5%. So they're employing the entire town, to help build that. And they're going to need people to work there after they build the stadium. And they're building it as a year. I like the concept of what they did. They built it to incorporate it into the neighborhood.
Yeah.
So I'm okay with it. Like I have to say, stop your billion-dollar stadium.
Kilroy says those big modern stages can take lots of weight. Better to overbuild it now than try to shore it up later. True.
Oh yeah, they drove a tank on, and the only other person I know to drive a tank on stage is Master P. The rapper. Oh, I was like, what? I look up and you're gone. And now I have that song stuck in my head.
I had a cough. I'm back now. Master P. Tank.
Oh, now I just have a song stuck in my head. Na 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 na.
Is that a Master P song?
Yeah, make him say because I'm stuck in the past. It still pops up on my playlist.
Mm.
Do you know what's funny? I still do not listen to Metallica. I was never a Nelly fan, but if it comes on the radio, I'm like, all right, all right. If Metallica comes on, I change the station.
I'm not. There's something about their whole like tuning and chord structure and stuff. I can't handle Metallica for the most part. Exception song here, song there, but for the most part, it just kind of it's misery in music form. Which I think that's what a lot of people like about it. But
I'm into black metal, and that's literally how you could describe black metal, but it's still more cheery than Metallica. I think also too is that I was one generation removed from Metallica. Like when I came around, Metallica had already like had a couple albums out, and it just wasn't my thing. All metal sounds the same to me nowadays. It sounds exactly like punk music to me, just whiny ass 17-year-old. Okay, and as somebody who's a raging metalhead, I kind of agree with you. But there is a meme that still to this day, I have it in my phone. It makes me laugh. And it's talking about ska. And it says that ska is what happens when a 13-year-old gets an extra mozzarella stick at TGI Fridays. Because ska is really happy, American ska. Like Caribbean ska, that's hardcore music. That's when you're like skanking and dancing for real. But like, modern ska is really happy and like
I feel like it's suburban reggae with trumpets.
that is the most accurate description I've heard in a very long time. I am really into Caribbean music. So there's certain things I'll hear and I'm like, oh, that was copied, that was stolen, that was copied.
So is this fabric a knit or a woven? I didn't catch it.
It's a woven. But I'm just trying to line up the edges because the surgeon's gonna take care of it. But I don't want to like sometimes I overcompensate because I'll pin and I'm like, I know the surgeon's just gonna eat this, so I really don't care. But I'm really trying to line up the edges.
I just wouldn't want like the stripes meeting the wrong way. Light onto dark and vice versa.
Here in the House of Sewing, we respect all opinions. I'm a pirate. As a pirate, I don't care which direction my stripes are going. As long as I can swashbuckle on the open sea.
Kilroy says ska is like if a Midwest garage band made up of dads read about reggae in a magazine once and tried to replicate it.
Oh, it makes me laugh. Oh, it makes me laugh. It's true though. It is true. You know what though? We all have interpretations. Like in Mexico, they'll say like this isn't Taco Bell because they're like offended. They'll say, because to them, like Taco Bell is American food, or like Chipotle. To someone from Mexico, they'll be like, "Oh, that's just rice and beans. That's not Mexican food." I told you I worked at when I worked at Carl's Jr. in Portland, Oregon. I didn't know it was a no-no. They had one across the street. I went and got a burrito. I came back. I had 7 people staring at me. And they were like, go ahead and eat it. Go ahead.
You were only supposed to eat Carl's Jr.? Is that what they're trying to tell you?
No, but like you know, like the people that I worked with, someone was like for real from Acapulco. I'm still friends with her.
Oh, okay.
Like someone was for real from the Yucatan. So they're like
Uh-huh.
that's not that's an interpretation of a burrito.
Okay. Well, were they bringing you real burritos? Because,
You know,
a man's got to eat.
you know what's really funny? They did, because back then they were like, "You're too skinny. You're too skinny." But they were positive about it though.
Uh-huh.
And you know what? I want to say something. When gosh, I was younger. I was like 20 something. I joined a hockey league. I was skinny, and guess what? I played with grown men because I played in my age group. In my proper age group. And
I feel like there's some subtext in there, but I don't know.
I was a stick, and it didn't matter because I had pads on.
Kilroy says, now we know who to thank for that beefcake. What wasn't it Sophia Loren who said that she got her figure from pasta or something like that?
Which was unheard of by today's standards. I have my figure because I love like cheeseburgers and waffles and chili. I had to back off of chili fries. I have a chili fry habit.
Where do you get your chili fries?
The greasy spoon that I by my house. Well, there was this one place by my house. They recently. Oh my gosh! How did they score 2? We're gonna lose again. Anyways, they you would order chili fries and they would give you like 4 pounds. It was insane. But that place closed. It was because it turned into a biker bar, and in my town they don't put up with that. The city closed them because of a noise complaint. Hey, Gilly!
Oh, hey, Gilly.
I was for a week for a second and saw the notification going back to bed, but wish you all well. Thank you so much. Great to see you. I hope you're well, and I hope you recover well as well.
Have a good sleep. Rest up your knee. Thanks for popping in.
There's a bunch. I would never say it to their face, but there's a bunch of YouTubers I fall asleep to. There's someone who subscribed to me. I don't know if she's subscribed to me anymore, but I basically watch her twice a day because she obviously lives on the East Coast, because like sometimes when I'm going to bed, she's going live. And it's like 6 a.m. on the East Coast or 7 a.m. So I always end up falling asleep to her and then watching it on the replay. So she gets like 2 or 3 views from me.
Nice.
One day I will be up at that time and I'm just going to be like, finally. Like when I caught Pam's live stream for the when I finally got enough nerve to say something.
I've missed Pam's streams. I think I don't get the notification, and I've often got stuff going on.
You know, I'm subscribed to a bunch of sewists, and people have lives, like the person I watch every single day. I just liked it. I like it because she calls her show Captain's Log. But we all have different schedules. There's a bunch of people in the UK that I wish were on my schedule, but they're not. But it's cool when I wake up and get notifications, though.
There's a stylist that I watch, and she has a live, and I'm like, that's at 6 a.m. I don't think I'm gonna make it.
There's there is someone I watch who lives in San Francisco, and he'll have a premiere at three in the morning. He'll have a live at like 4 in the morning, and all the people on the East Coast are like, "Do you ever sleep?" He has crazy hours, but you know what though? Like in a lot of ways, like last night I released a video at 3 o'clock in the morning or 2.
Mm.
No, I think it was 3 because Butterfly. No, actually, Butterfly's just probably an early riser. Somebody, oh, it was Rashawn commented, and I'm like, okay, it's 6 a.m. on the East Coast, and I'm like, oops, I did not. That's why I'm a little bit loopier than usual because I did not get too much sleep last night.
Mm. Insomnia is the worst.
And my Roman was it called biphasic sleeping?
Uh-huh.
It works and it doesn't work.
Well, as we've discussed, even if you sleep in 2 phases, your hours have to add up to the full required amount of sleep.
But I can feel it. Like when I'm tired, I can feel it.
Mm-hmm.
Oh. Gee, William, get the heaviest chair you can find. Okay. I thought my camera was already switched over. No, the serger thread is still going strong. All right, I might mute myself because the serger does scream, and the microphone's right here.
Okay. That is a serious green.
This reminds me of a cartoon character from a show that Isaiah used to watch. That's how serious of a green it is.
So I brought the Osmo Pollux out to show Gilly, but he wasn't here for very long. I was watching videos today because I haven't used it yet myself. So I wanted to make sure I put it on right. I had the that big block that I have with the grooves cut in for my rotary rulers. And I think that the wood was treated, and then the stuff that I used to try to get the paint off, it was smelling pretty pungent. So I put it outside. I figured, it's cedar, it'll be fine. So I put it out in the rain, and now it's all fresh and wood smelling. So I'm going to give it a little sand, and then I'll put the Osmo on it. So I'm excited to use it. Let's see. Kilroy says, I feel my best on 4 to 6 hours of sleep. Wow. I can't do the 8+ hour thing anymore. My back hurts all day and I feel sluggish all day as well.
I get
Ooh.
that. I get that. If I sleep more than 6 hours, my back starts hurting. And I have a comfy bed. And yes, it's that weird bed in a box. I saw someone make fun of it in a commercial. My bed is amazing. And when it came, the UPS guy was like, I have no idea what this is. I opened it up. You literally have to find a corner and it unraveled.
And your back still hurts with the new mattress?
And it's new. It's new, like within the past year and a half. Because what happened was I purchased 2 for Isaiah, and I was so impressed. I think I just wanted to open up. I just wanted to see the bed snake out one more time.
And did you get like maybe the wrong firmness? Like you got a soft one and maybe you needed a firm one or something?
I told you I'm an ex-feral human, so like.
So you needed a really firm one.
It's a
cushy
comfy
one.
Yeah. It's still comfy, you know, but when if I really sleep in,
Mm.
my back hurts.
Yeah, if I only got 4 to 6 hours of sleep, I'd be getting sick. I mean, like, I can do it on occasion, but too many times, my body's all parental. Like I'm some wayward youth. It's like, oh, you think you're gonna stay up all night? Ah, we'll see.
Mine does that. Like I'll start getting ill. My body's like, oh, you think you're 22 again? Sick. 4 to 6. That's about. I get about that.
Mm.
It's so sad. Like, if I have something to do the next day, I'll look at my imaginary watch, and I'm like, well, I only need 4 or 5 hours of sleep, so I'll like go to bed at a certain time because I know I only need like 4 or 5 to be refreshed.
Oh, goodness. That's just not enough sleep. Can't do it.
Do you go full hibernation? Do you go like full 8 hours?
Yeah. I mean, unless I like fall asleep on the couch or something, and then I'm like, dang it. Um, but yeah, well, probably it depends on how I'm feeling. But I have to get a pretty pretty frequent, like I usually wake up after about 7.5 hours. Um, but I have to get enough sleep pretty consistently. Otherwise I get sick, which is no fun.
I actually knew someone like that and they're still like that. They sleep like they could sleep 12, 13, 14 hours.
Mm.
That to me, like I have things to do.
That's a lot. I mean, I've got to be like, I have slept that much before, but only if I've been like completely exhausted.
Someone I know, they literally they also work like now they work crazy hours on their shifts, but yeah, they're a hibernator. I can't do that.
Yeah, I wouldn't do that much regularly, but
I'm too junk. When I wake up, I'm one of those strange people. Like I physically stand up and get out of bed. I am like charged. It's the strangest thing.
That
I
is not me. I have gotten out of bed and fallen over.
Don't get me wrong. This morning I got out of bed. I walked straight to the coffee maker and I went back to the bed because it was cold. And that bed is the warmest place in the house. Even with the heater on, it was cold.
My chiropractor had read some article or been to a seminar or something talking about the benefits of exercising right when you first wake up. And he's trying to tell me this about, and you want to do jumping jacks. And I just kind of looked at him and I'm like, and he looked back and he said, my wife made that same expression when I told her about it.
Which is probably his ex-wife now.
No, I think they're still happily married, probably because he didn't try to goad her into exercising when she first woke up. I would break something. I'm like groggy and not coordinated. That would, oh.
I have to drive to work, so I have to be like awake. I wake up early just because I know I have to like be awake and alert and be able to operate heavy machinery. Literally.
Kilroy says, I'll throw my damn back out if I do jumping jacks right after getting up.
I physically cringed when you said that. I was like, oh, people do that? I just started pounding water when I wake up because all these health freaks, all these people were like, drink water, it'll change your life. Okay, I'll take that one. It does. That one, I pound a bottle of water before I start my coffee regimen for the day.
I've actually heard that it should be warm water
What?
Mhm.
No, I'm not.
Well, like put the kettle on and drink some hot water.
I
Kind of.
couldn't imagine. Says the guy who drinks coffee all day long.
Kilgore says, I've got to have at least 7 cups of coffee before doing anything. Yeah, I need time to like wake up and get going. But it's not as bad as my mom. Oh my goodness. When we would travel and stay at a little B&B or something, the host would always come to me in the morning. Is your mom okay? I'm like, oh yeah, she's fine. She just needs to wake up. Kilroy says, I get a pop of adrenaline right after getting up that lasts 5 minutes tops. After that, it's coffee time for an hour and a half. Yeah.
I get adrenaline when I remember all the things I have to do that day. I'm like, oh.
I remember did you ever watch Remington Steele back in the day? There's the intro where she like wakes up and she rolls over and then pew, a bullet hole appears in her pillow. Yeah. I don't think I'd survive trying to be a spy. I'd be like waking up. Wait, what? You gonna shoot me? Okay, hold on a second. Let me get together. Just hold that thought. We're now feeding the seam through the serger. It looks like it's a side seam, given the angle of the stripes. So what's your favorite kind of coffee, Kilroy? Like is there a brand you like, a particular roast, flavor profile? I know that my mom is very particular about her coffee. Since you drink it black, I can't remember if you just like strong coffee or if you're a connoisseur of coffee flavors, the way Butterfly is with tea.
You can judge me. I use hazelnut creamer, and I only started using it in the past like 3 or 4 years, and now I put it in everything.
I like having different flavors. I get some espresso pods for my Nespresso, and they're flavored, but they're naturally flavored, and it's very subtle. It's not like adding a syrup to the thing. Let's see. Kilroy says, I am a loyal Cafe Bustelo drinker. It comes in yellow bricks for cheap. It's very easy on the stomach, too. I use Cafe Bustelo when I'm doing a recipe that calls for like espresso powder or instant coffee or something like that. I don't think I've ever like just made a cup of coffee with it, though. Have you ever had a cup of Bustelo, William?
A cup of what?
Had a cup of Cafe Bustelo?
Yeah, I love that stuff. I'm not I'm weird. Like if it's leaded, I'll drink it. I like boba. I like mate. I like all kinds of weird stuff.
I don't like boba because I don't like having to try to chew my drink. And like they're these big little like pearl things, and they're they don't taste bad or anything, but they're floating around in the liquid, and so trying to get them in between your teeth or to like swallow the liquid so you can chew them without choking on a boba.
I love boba. It's because I'm a caffeine person. I love caffeine, so if it's leaded, I'll drink it. I'll never forget the day my friend, she civilized me and she taught me about tea, and she's like, you like caffeine, but you don't drink tea? And I'm like, no. And she's like, come with me, my friend. And she taught me that caffeine, that tea has just as much caffeine in it.
Well, not quite, but
I
it
have
does
had
have
this
caffeine.
argument for years. I've had this argument with people. So which one is it? Because some people feel that tea has more caffeine, than coffee. I think, I'm sorry, people think that coffee has more caffeine than tea. I think it's the exact opposite.
Well, if you're going with just the amount of caffeine per ounce of beverage, then coffee has more, like black tea has more caffeine than green tea, and coffee has more caffeine than black tea.
Interesting. Learn something new here in the house of so.
But sometimes people like drink more of one kind of drink than another, and so it's like, okay, well, it may have less caffeine, but you're drinking more of it, or maybe metabolizes differently for you.
I drink so much coffee that, like, if I mix coffee and tea, it makes me physically ill.
Oh,
So I can't. So, like, I love tea, but I am I'm loyal to coffee.
so I have a question for everybody. Tapioca pudding, yes or no?
That's a hard pass for me.
I like tapioca pudding, but I think that I don't so much care one way or the other about the little tapioca bits. I think I just like the custard of the pudding. That I like that flavor. Joy says yes on tapioca pudding. Okay, so rice pudding, yes or no? My grandmother used to make homemade rice pudding that was just a little bit of rice, slow cooked in evaporated milk with some butter. And was it just evaporated milk? I have it written down somewhere. And it was like only like 3 tablespoons of rice, but it would just like absorb and fill out, and it was good. And not like pudding with rice like you get sometimes, but it's a whole different thing. Let's see, bread pudding. Bread pudding's good. Kilroy says, I can't do rice pudding, cream of wheat, oatmeal, anything with that kind of texture. Interesting. Yeah, watch what happens. So, William, have you ever had bread and milk?
Are you trying to make me physically ill? Are you trying to make me like? I'm naturally queasy. I was trying to not listen to that whole conversation. First of all, I don't like rice milk, and I know I should, and I don't.
Rice milk?
I think it's gross.
We didn't say anything about rice milk.
Rice pudding, same family. Kick them all out.
No.
Yes, afuera. No, not a fan. Bread pudding, wrong country. You said that because I was trapped on an island the size of Kentucky where they put everything in a sausage. What is this in a pie? And you know what's funny? In Australia, they have McDonald's and all kinds of amazing things. Like, I could survive in Australia. The UK, like, they eat like us in Australia. You know what it was? It was the more I went east, I got the real UK food, the real food, not the stuff they sell tourists. Where you go to a place and it's English breakfast everywhere you go.
I love English breakfast.
As we all know, as somebody who's allergic to tomatoes, no way.
Well, I just don't eat the tomatoes.
This made me laugh. I'm sorry. That boba stuff freaks me out. I'm addicted to boba. Bread pudding. Ugh. I can't do rice pudding. Thank you. I'm the same way. I think that's what it is.
All of those.
I didn't eat oatmeal until I was 25 years old.
Oh, oatmeal's so good. I used to have a bowl of porridge every morning for breakfast when I was in school. My grandmother would make me a bowl of porridge. Start my day off right.
Were you next to Tiny Tim and Oliver Twist?
Well, my grandmother was an English lady, so by way of Canada, but she went back to England as a teenager, married an Englishman, made porridge.
Do you know what's really funny, Dixie? I grew up in a house. My father was from the South. He loves that stuff. I've never had it before.
You've never had grits?
I know. Get out. I'm gonna kick me out of my own stream now.
A little butter, some salt and pepper. Grits
Never
are
even
good.
tried it. I've and I'm gonna tell you honestly, because like people have opinions about things. Like I grew up eating sweet potato pie. The first time I had pumpkin pie, I was like, this is good. I like it. There's no difference. I've never had grits, so I can't even give you an opinion.
Wow. I'm astonished. We'll be collecting your card after this.
I was waiting out. Somebody just walked out. They probably unsubscribed too. They were like, "Oh my gosh, she's
It's a
never
good
had
thing
grits."
Rashawn's not here.
Out of here. I'm not. There's a ton of stuff. I told you, plantains. Nope.
That just doesn't make any sense to me. Given other things you like, I mean, I'm shocked that you don't like plantain.
And then the funny thing is, I'm obsessed with bananas.
See, that's what I don't get.
Every day at lunch, I eat a banana and an orange, and I love that combination together. But if you fried it, I would run out of the room.
I'm just shocked.
It's a texture thing. And you know what's funny? Like I said, I've had stuff. I'm not necessarily the pickiest person, but when it comes to certain things, nope. I will physically run out of the room.
Okay, so do you ever eat that dish called banana pudding with the vanilla pudding and the Necco wafers and not the Necco wafers, the Nilla wafers and the layers of banana?
Okay. See, this is where we can all have peace on earth and compromise. I will eat that. I like that.
But you don't like bread pudding, bread and milk, or cooked plantains. See, now I'm baffled. Like I'm legitimately perplexed here.
Cheese and grits sounds like a euphemism for something. If you're from a certain area, I guarantee you it is, and we just don't know it. There's all kinds of weird nomenclatures. Like, I don't even want to say. There's a couple I didn't even know were like derogatory. I just thought they were descriptive.
I still like that coat.
I love this coat. That's why it's here, because I rock this thing all the time. For some reason, well, I know why. It's because are you gonna watch the new Willy Wonka?
Probably.
Oh, you know me and remakes. I'm on the fence.
I've heard that it's a prequel.
Oh, that's right. I did watch a video how somebody was just recording. Okay, I might watch it now. Now that I'm thinking about it, I probably will. Because everything's political now, and now I remembered why I watched that video in the first place. I don't understand why people care so much when they switch characters.
When they switch characters?
Well, they kind of like switch the cast around. And
like
Willy Wonka is my color.
What?
Willy Wonka is my color.
Oh.
Come with me, the world of imagination.
But I'm sorry, how are you getting a... I'm confused. How are you getting a half black man out of Willy
No,
Wonka?
no, he's. I think. I just said he's my color. We're gonna get both super canceled.
No, I'm
I'm kidding. I'm just
genuinely
giving you a hard time.
confused.
I'm
No,
just
I'm
giving you
trying
a
to
hard time.
understand because I'm like, okay, Gene Wilder, Timothée Chalamet.
Come with.
Uh,
Oh, that's so funny, Kilroy. I have had that song stuck in my head. The world of imagination. I loved that movie when I was a kid. There are certain movies, that Sword in the Stone, like Magician's Apprentice from Fantasia. There are certain things that I loved as a child, and Willy Wonka was one of them. I
I
think
mean,
it's just because I wanted to leave my house.
I read the books. Am I forgetting that he was a black man?
No, they changed it. They just changed it. That's all.
They changed what? You still haven't said, and I'm really genuinely confused.
Because I don't know how to say it in non-YouTube offensive terms. Because I am not necessarily the most politically correct human, so sometimes I just reserve certain things and don't say certain things. But they changed the cast.
Like other characters? Is
Yeah,
that
it's
what we're
before.
talking about?
Oh, well, you know what? When the stream is over, I'll show you the preview.
Okay.
On a world of imagination.
Keep in mind that I never did see the Willy Wonka movie. I've only read the books and seen snippets.
Record skip. Literally, everybody stop dancing right now. The bartender, I was like, uh-oh, and ran under the bar. You've never seen. We've had this conversation yesterday. We talked
Yeah.
about this yesterday.
Mhm.
You've never seen Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory?
No, I've only read the
Veruca Salt? Come on. I'm giving you a hard time.
I
It's
read Charlie and the Chocolate Factory and Charlie and the Great Glass Elevator.
I read that as well.
Never saw the movie.
Great books. Wow, I was obsessed with the movie when I was a child. That was like the one where I wore the tape off the VHS.
Wow.
Yes. That is so funny to me.
Who wrote the did the person who did the soundtrack for the movie wait, I can't talk apparently. Was the person who did the soundtrack for the movie the same person who wrote the Pure Imagination song, and who wrote that song?
I don't know, but with some Google Foo, we can find out in 10 seconds. Because it is blasting in my head now. Oh, that's so funny. Do you know, I do not watch reaction videos because it makes me feel old when someone's like, oh, the first time watching Abyss. I love that movie. I saw that the other day because I was watching a video about the Abyss, but like something popped up. I was like, I can't watch this. I remember when this came, I remember watching this,
I like to watch reaction videos because it's kind of like sharing the movie with someone.
Maybe I'm just a purist. It took me a long time even to get on YouTube. I think reaction videos are weird, but I'm a purist. And then watch tomorrow. I'm going to come out with a reaction video. Oh, this is going to be a funny shirt.
You look like a live action version of one of the pirates from Disney's Peter Pan or something.
This shirt?
That's what it makes me think of, like Disney's idea of a pirate from a cartoon.
I like that even more. I'll go get my Shmee pants right now.
Yeah.
I tried to make these America spants, and they just look like a Disney interpretation of a pirate.
You could wear the Smee pants with that stripy shirt, put a little hat on, you'd be set. Disney bounding, here you come. Watch out for gangs. I had to throw that in.
I still like, honestly, as somebody who knew they existed, I still think it's weird. You don't get that at like Great America or Magic Mountain. Well, Magic Mountain would never put up with it because they have a police station there, and so does Disney World. Now that I think, well, Disneyland here in beautiful sunny Southern California, they have a substation there.
Okay, so these people, are they like gangs out there doing gang things, or are they just social clubs?
They buy season tickets and wear their cuts and go to the park.
Right, but are they, brawling, or are they just groups?
Technically, they got classed by the FBI as gangs. But they did that with the American Moors. They did that with a lot of things, and not everyone who calls himself a Moor is part of the American Moors. They did that with a lot of things, It's just a title, but because like I don't see the Sons of Tortuga fighting people.
I mean,
Let me join, please. If you're listening and you're in the Sons of Tortuga, I want to join. What do I have to do? I'll buy a Vespa.
I mean, if they're not out there causing trouble and shivving each other in the parking structure, then I don't.
Sons of Anakin. Oh my gosh, I am made for Sons of Anakin. Oh, I love the cuts. They make me laugh. The puns have me on the ground.
Yeah.
But you know what though? Again, somebody probably did something and got in trouble, and they got classified. They did get like actually classified, or they're scaring people because they come in mass amounts. It's one of those things. It's one of those funny things.
Yeah.
But like our I love that fact how Subway bread is considered candy in other countries. Because there's so much sugar in it.
If I'm gonna eat a pastry bread, I can think of other things I would prefer to have than Subway bread.
Oh, now I'm craving Subway. The pizza place by my house, they make subs and they're so much better. Do you know what's really mean? There's a pizza place that I no longer go to. I used to, but it's next to the Subway. They advertise $4 subs because they're smart. And I asked the guy, because I've known the owner, since we were like, he inherited the business from his dad, and I asked him, I'm like, did you really undercut Subway's business? He was like, heck yeah, and it works. You can probably have either a can of Coke or a whole pie and get the same amount of sugar. Yeah. See, but that's American portions. I told you a long time ago, I knew someone from Australia, and we compared a can of Coke is the equivalent of a liter of Coke in Australia. So
wow.
the same amount of sugar that's in a can is the amount that's in a liter in Australia.
Wow.
We don't play in America when it comes. That's like when people drink what they call Mexican Coke. It's because they use less sugar and they use real sugar.
None of that high fructose corn syrup.
People are always like, why are these bottled Cokes so good? Because in other countries, they have different laws. And that's funny how we make fun of a place like Mexico, but Mexico, they have sugar regulation, and we don't. And they have free healthcare.
We have a lot of things that we should have regulation on that we don't.
Everywhere has its ups and downs, but when people like start saying certain things about certain places, I'm like, well, I've been there and they have this and this, and they're content and happy. I was also looking that up, like where are the happiest places on earth, but there were a couple places where I don't think I could live there. They're too happy.
No Finland for you?
No, but do you want to know the real reason why?
Not enough sunshine.
No, Mary Jane is 100% illegal.
Oh.
It's really funny you would say that. I was watching, you know how shorts get slipped in? Like you click on one, and then all of a sudden they advertise, like, oh, you watched one, now you want to watch 1,000, And I watched a Snoop Dogg interview, and it's so illegal there that they have the right to, it's not even allowed to be in your system. And so he got tested. He left. He came back 3 years later, and they arrested him. Because they said he tested dirty 3 years prior. It is illegal to be in that country, and and they still have those same laws on the books.
Goodness.
Yeah.
It's funny when you said Mary Jane, I was picturing the shoes.
Now I have a song stuck in my head. Good old Baby Lock. As somebody who used to travel, when I want to move somewhere, I always look up their laws.
That's sensible.
Just
I remember when I arrived in the UK and I was going through customs, and she looks at me and she says, your passport expires 2 weeks after your set return date. And I'm like, yeah. And she says, you're supposed to have 2 months valid on your passport beyond your return date. And I'm standing there, at customs in the UK, wondering if they're going to let me in the country. I'm like, oh no. Something I wish I'd have known before I left.
Yeah, they're funny. Was it around your birthday?
No. I don't think it was.
My original one weirdly expired around my birthday.
I'll be right back.
All right. So let's finish this shirt. Oh, the Kings lost 5-3. I think we are officially the worst team in hockey now. All right, let's find the bottom of this. There we go. Perfect. This pedal lives under here because this is my main machine. I always have it plugged in and ready to go. But it's funny how sometimes I go look for the pedal and I'm like, there's no way it could have ran away. Perfect. Beautiful. Oh, I missed. There we go. Beautiful. All right, so I'm going to take my pins out and see if I have to redo this. But like I always say, reinforce your seams. It's not just a saying, it's something I actually do. But I have a feeling I missed a piece on here, so I'm going to take all my pins out and take a look. And that's the beautiful thing about making your own clothes. All right, let me look. Perfect. Okay, so let me look underneath. Oh, that actually went all the way through. So it's the top that needs a little bit of help. Perfect. I missed the top piece. Do you know what's so funny? I have such an eye that I knew I missed somewhere. Oh, that's hilarious. Beautiful. All right, let me check my seams. Oh, that's hilarious. Oh, there's definitely some room for improvement right here. You know what? I'm just going to have to come on this side and fix that mistake this way. It's the only way because I can visibly see the mistake. Perfect. All right. Next arm. I'm almost done with this shirt. This, you know what? Waternay did name. This is definitely like a Disney pirate shirt. I'm feeling that. I am definitely feeling that one. All right. This is a more of a thin material, so I really have to pay attention when I'm sewing it because it has a tendency to run away from the it really is bumble bunching and wanting to run, but I'm not allowing it to. That's why I'm kind of meticulously going piece by piece because it keeps on trying to recoil back to. There we go. Perfect. Perfect. Almost hit the pin, but I did not. Oh, perfect. Beautiful. Now I'm going to pull my pin. I believe that's all the way through and all the way around. I'm going to pull my pins, check my seams, make my final cuts, and then try it on and see how it looks. Oh, this is this is going to be 1990s bright with how beautiful and vibrant that is. You know, I've been saying this for a while now, but it's true. A couple years ago, I decided to incorporate color into my style. And so I go looking for funky combinations and all kinds of crazy colors. All right. Beautiful. Let me make sure. Perfect. All right, let me check for. Oh, there's one. I always check for mistakes just to make sure, because when you try it on, you don't want to hear that rip or slip. Beautiful. Perfect. All right. Oh, good timing. Yay, welcome
Oh,
back.
thank you. Thank you.
There we go. You know what? I love the Golden Girls chair. I know eventually I'm going to get rid of it, but I have its twin brother or sister sitting in my living room. So when I do get that warehouse, be prepared for double Golden Girl chairs.
Why not? I still think it would be fun if you made a cover or cushion for it, like patchwork with a lot of the fabrics from your projects.
That reminds me, you totally reminded me I was going to do that for my truck. Nobody smiles when I say that. But I've reupholstered quite a few things at this point where I have enough confidence where I could take my car seat off,
Yeah,
plop
why
it in
not?
here, and cover that thing.
I like that idea.
And years ago, I made a video about it. I had a gaming chair, and one of the reasons I gained confidence in my upholstery is because I believed in the math. I measured everything, I wrote everything down, and I made it precise to my measurements. It was perfect.
Yeah,
So it gave me a lot of confidence on reupholstering things. Oh.
I like that idea. I made a coffee. I was a little bit hungry. And
I
I'm
don't know
hoping that, maybe this time the caffeine will perk me up.
if I'm debating if I put this on backwards or not.
Oh, no. Well, which part has the tag?
Oh Lord, I wish you know it in this one case. I should start putting my so-called life tag.
I think
Okay,
so. Or HOS, House of Sewing.
I like that. I like that. And I purposely call it house because in every other genre they call it house, HAUS, but not around here in the House of Sewing.
Williams Atelier.
Okay, I had it on backwards. I have fish. Oh, that's funny. I know you can see me because I can't even hide in this one.
I like it. It's cheerful.
Well, I guess we're not going to get an after party video for this one. I'm not kidding you. For all the people who flip to the very end because the statistics know who you are, this is the final product. This looks great. Once again, I'm just trying to add color to my wardrobe, and I'm a long sleever. I love the emo sleeve. I might even put my thumbs through these, through the. I love how this looks. It's another victory. Hold on me. This is perfect. And I do this really epic thing where I drape my shirt over my phone case because I'm trying to look epic. Because in the modern era, we don't carry 6-shooters, we carry iPhones. And so I do. I love how this came out. Thank you, Dixie Doodle. Thank you, Joy. Absolutely. And see, that's another thing. I'm all about wearing comfortable clothes. When I first started sewing, I made a bunch of like really uncomfortable jackets and just a lot of really gaudy projects. And I like sewing all the time, and stuff like this is perfect. Because this is something that I would definitely fall asleep on the couch while wearing. This does make me feel kind of swashbuckly, though. The green stripes are definitely swashbuckly.
Yo ho.
We're retired now. We don't sing yo ho anymore. I was trying to think of a funny pun for that one. I just barely had enough material. Once again, the people at my local Walmart do not know how to count. If that was 4 yards, my name's Joey, and spoiler, my name's not Joey. I don't want to be a Karen, but should I say something? Because they're Walmart labels, and they say this is 4 yards, this is blah, blah, blah,
I mean, it would be different if they let you measure, but they're not there for that either. So
they're like, depending on who the person is, they're pretty liberal and generous with it when they're cutting it. Because especially the people who don't care. I like those people who hate their job. They're like, here, take it all. But their oopsies they're kind of lying on their oopsies.
Did they round up or something?
Oh, thank you, Dixie. I love that compliment. Thank you. They said that this was 4 yards and it was barely 3. Like, I barely had enough. Like, because this pattern calls for a little bit over 3, but I can always compromise it by moving the shapes and things,
Mm-hmm.
If you've ever played Tetris or are good at delegating, you'd be able to figure it out. You love that word, oopsie. I do. The oopsie aisle is the greatest invention of all time, because in the capitalist society, we do not, we sell everything, even our mistakes. And I've always thought that was fascinating.
One man's oopsie is another man's treasure.
Oopsie. Which vest is this? Oh, that is an angry one.
Are you looking for a vest without cuss words on it? Is that what's going on?
That's the challenge. And that's another thing, it's been a few years since my son's been on campus. We both dress like grizzled bikers at this point. I made him shave everything but his stash. I was like, look, bro, you can't go to school looking like Shaggy. Chico DeBarge, I can live with. But you go to school looking like Shaggy, they're gonna be like, excuse me, sir, your son looks like Shaggy.
You could loan him that shirt, and maybe he's got some brown pants.
This is a Shaggy shirt. This reminds me of a character of a show my son used to watch. But this is totally a Shaggy.
Shaggy as pirate.
That's so funny. I'm sorry. I love color. I wear black every day. So when I incorporate, it's weird for me to see myself wearing color. Like it's
Oh.
weird, because I dress like I'm in a Norwegian death metal band. And so it's weird.
I was unhappy about it when I was a kid, but I've since resigned myself. Well, actually, I embrace the richness of my color palette. I just tell myself those other colors, you'd save them for somebody else.
My mom dressed me like I was on The Sopranos. I wore tracksuits until I was in the 6th grade. When I watched The Sopranos, I'm like, I dressed like that in elementary school. Or I'd have like the Fila jogging outfit. Didn't jog anywhere, but had the whole outfit. But that was the style. That was the era.
Did you get to wear colors in your jogging outfits?
Of course. That was the cross, like towards the end of my mother dressing me was the beginning of like the cross colors era. That was the explosion, of bright colors. Like it's really funny. I remember what you were telling me about the 80s, but I was more there for the one in the 90s. But I remember when things became less drabby and people started wearing color again.
Yeah.
And I feel like we're going back into that drabby brown and like brown carpet, beige walls.
There's been a real drabbing down of, like for a while everything was gray. But then I think that we had a lot of like subgroups sort of rebelling against that with color explosion. So
for a while when I was painting, I wore black almost every day to work. Hairstylist. Is that your black apron, or just because of the stuff you're working with?
maybe it's one of those where the salon requires everyone to wear black.
The second I read that, I was thinking of every hairstylist, and they do wear black. They do. For anyone tuning in, this is the color jumps. I think that's what it is. The color absolutely jumps on camera.
Yeah.
And this was from the oopsie aisle at my. You see, I got freedom for the first time in years. I dropped my son off and went straight to buy. I went straight to wherever fabric was.
Now you're busting all out. Color, stripes.
I love this. I absolutely love this. Whenever there are certain things I make, like I always say, you can tell I like it when I keep it on. When I'm waffling and I'm still wearing it, I like seeing myself in color though, because I do wear black or gray or even last year, no, actually 2 years ago was the first time I started wearing red. It's just one day I was like, wait a minute, I don't wear red because I watched way too much MTV as a kid.
I wear a lot of red. Part of it is that a lot of stores, they seem to think, okay, it's spring or it's summer. Everyone should be wearing pastels or bright colors or something. And I'm like, well, crap, I need something to wear because it's hot, but I can't wear any of these colors. But I can usually get away with a red that's maybe, not the best red for me, but a red will be better than lime green or yellow or, something like that.
There are certain colors I stay away from. Like, I do not wear anything that's the exact same color as me, and that's more for picture's sake. But I say that, but I recently got that Jim Brown jersey at a thrift store, and I wear it all the time. And I love that Jim Brown jersey. I'm not even a Cleveland Browns fan, but I love that jersey.
A lot of people find it very chic to wear a neutral that's close to your skin color.
I look at it from the perspective of more photography.
Mhm.
I just don't want to look like a floating head.
You don't want to walk around looking like you forgot your pants that day.
In front of mirrors all day.
Does this mean that you're thinking about branching out now, Dixie? And start wearing color to the salon?
It was the strangest thing. Like, I do not have hair to change. I like the shoes that I wear. I like my style, so I just added color, and it changed everything. And that's what's important. Don't get me wrong, tomorrow, like even today, I came wearing my work shirt and I'm like, do I own anything that's not black? Do I like have something that's not black? Excuse me, but I purposely they were like, okay, you have to have some sort of a uniform. I was like, okay, black Dickies long sleeve. Everyone hates me for it, but I love it. I love that shirt. I have quite a few. I don't have to think about what I'm going to wear when I go to work. Doesn't work necessarily during the summer, but
Well, I mean, it's probably better because it saves people getting burned and you work with a lot of brush and stuff, so you don't want to be getting all scratched up and
during the summer, like we do wear more khaki stuff, but that's just because it's hot. But also, like I learned this from my predecessor. If it's over 90 something, you're coming inside the shop. There's no reason to be out there when it's 102. No one needs to be a hero. All that work will be there the next day.
yeah.
And I learned that from the boss I had before. Like he was big on that. Like, dude, no, it's hot. You need to come inside. Like, because I'm in the desert. So I have that policy where like after and at this point people know when it reaches a certain temperature, nah. So that's why we get there early in the morning.
What time does the rest of the crew show up?
I get there around 4:30. Like people trickle in like 5. Everyone's like there by 6. But like just as much as I like having free time when I wake up in the morning, I like having free time with no one being there. Or sometimes I'll just grab my video camera and go skate in the gym wearing a cape.
I like gray, like deep charcoal gray. And
I recently just bought a gray shirt because I was like, I don't wear gray. But I have this weird thing of I love the hunt. So when I go to there's a Goodwill where it's all just giant piles of clothes and stuff, and you pay by the weight. And still to this day, I don't think I have the concept down because I'll buy a bunch of stuff and they're like, okay, this is $6. And I'm like, how is all of this $6? And I'll get like a broken stereo, but they go by weight. But I love hunting and finding gems.
I went to a Goodwill and they have, like the normal Goodwill where there are sections and, things are hanging up and on shelves and stuff. And then next door to it, they have like, I don't know how they decide what goes into the next door place, but it was all these big bins and everything was just dumped in the bin. I think I maybe lasted about 3 minutes and I said, I've got to go.
That's exactly how the place is. I will tell you the same thing happened to me the first time I went in there. And I came back with Isaiah and he gave me the best advice. He's like, put a mask and gloves on and let's go. I get in there. Like, there was one time I told him, I was like, hey, man, grab my feet.
It
I
was
get in there.
it was so overwhelming for me. It was I couldn't deal.
Okay, so we will not be going to the Goodwill in Van Nuys because that's the one I'm talking about. It's the only one on my side where it's a giant sorting center. It was
Mm,
weird to me because like you walk in and it looks like the back room of a Goodwill.
mm,
Like you said, it's just those giant tubs, those giant push tubs,
mm-hmm.
you know? And there's stuff in there. It's not like it's just clothes.
Yeah, everything was just like
I like that. Excuse me. That's part of the reason I love the chase at swap meets, flea markets. I'm in there in the pile like with everybody else. Going with a shovel and just shovel stuff into your car. It is intimidating at first. It really is. I did the same thing Waterday did. The first time I was like, oh no, I have too much anxiety for this place. I came with backup the second time. You know what? I might go there now that I have free time. I don't know. I might not make it back on time. They might find my boots. My
yeah, I
boots
was
up
gonna
in
say. No, you need someone to help pull you out.
It's weird. It's just weird. Like imagine putting a sewing machine on the table and you pay $4 for it because you're paying by weight.
Hmm.
It's a weird place.
You gotta find the sewing machine at the bottom of the bin of like random shoes and some shelving unit and a
So
couple socks.
I have a weird backstock question. How do you feel about those stores that like their prices are too good to be true? There's this place, and I won't say where it is. I'll tell you after stream, and I'll tell you why after stream. But like they they're selling $10,000 Jukis for 300, $400. They're selling brand new industrial surgers for 150, and they're calling it backstock.
I mean, it's hard saying because that is a thing, but so is theft. So I don't
Exactly.
know.
But like it seems legit. I have been cruising their page for almost a year now. People are like, dude, this is real. It's
I,
almost worth the hour and a half drive on the
I,
other side of town.
I imagine that if it were theft, especially with them advertising and everything, then they would have been rounded up, shut down, etc. So,
There was a place familiar. There was a place just like that near my house. Um, Actually, that's where I got my stormtrooper. Well, you can't see him; the chair's in the way. That's where I got that guy. That's huge. That's like 2.5, 3 feet. That's huge. But it was one of those places. I was in there a week later. I drive by and there was 15 sheriff cars.
yeah.
So that's one of the reasons I'm kind of reluctant. I have a saying, and I stole this from Judge Judy, but I stole this from Judge Judy in the 90s, and I've lived by it ever since. If it's too good to be true, it's too good to be true. So if I perceive something like, oh, that's kind of sketchy, I won't even go within 100 miles of it.
Hmm.
But they're selling like recently in one of their videos, they flashed a Juki, and everybody was like, you better get there before I do.
But sometimes they have like one from some, old sewing machine guy who was going out of business, and they figure, okay, they'll advertise that at such a low price that they bring everybody in to buy all their other stuff. And, you know,
Yeah, but it's almost worth it to go there. Um, If I paid $25 for a modern singer, it's worth the video.
Mm.
Then I can go to the aquarium or the Pacific, eat some lunch. It's
Yeah.
a but what I'm saying is I just don't like I said, it seems like it's too good to be true to me.
Hmm.
Liquidation stores are like we really don't have them anymore around here at all. I
Hmm.
mean, at all. We used to have them in mass, but that has kind of gone the way of the dodo because of Amazon. Because like right now, I could go buy a pallet, an Amazon pallet, because that's really what they're doing.
Yeah.
I suspect that's what a lot of people at the swap meet do, and I'm like, how do they get this stuff? I guarantee you, a lot of it is just backstock.
Yeah. I think I've run out of steam.
I know. I'm gonna jump. Well, we came, we saw, we conquered. I'm results here in the House of Sewing.
Rainbows.
Talk about waffles, and I waffle. I always forget about those. Oh man, it's so funny. It's Wednesday. I was like, I'm only gonna go for an hour. Like I said, road flares 3.5 hours later. Is it because I'm loud? Am I going the wrong way? What is that?
That's different.
Whoa.
Is there another update we don't know about? Wait a minute. Do I get it if I'm like close by? No, I get maybe your laser's malfunctioning.
I think I glitched in real time.
It like glitched and put it in front of you instead of behind. Wow.
Is the final count. That was weird. No, I was doing this earlier. I can't even remember what I was talking about, but I finally got balloons at a really inappropriate time. I can't remember what I was. I was like, wow, that is strangely inappropriate. That is strangely inappropriate for balloons. To anyone watching this in the future, I absolutely thank you. Finished project, but I'm actually working on a few videos right now. I'm in this weird renaissance. I'm working on a Gray Singer video. I'm also working on a Janko video. I've made like 7 or 8 pairs and didn't even notice. I have quite a few bell bottoms. So thank you so much for being here, Dixie. Thank you so much. I'm working on quite a few things. I'll be back at it on Saturday with tales of all the crazy thrifting, parenting, and everything in between. I hope everybody has a great week. To everyone watching this in the future, can I just say, hold on. You are beautiful. You are absolutely beautiful, and I appreciate you. To everybody who watches this, and everyone watching it now, I appreciate you too. But there's quite a few people who want to see if I finish something. So here I am. Everyone is absolutely appreciated. I'll be back at it on Saturday. Like I always say, reinforce your seams, be yourself, and I will definitely see you next time. Bye.
Bye.